He was a summoned beast, despised by the whole world. Yet the very first moment I summoned him, I hugged him and kissed him wildly in ecstasy. Seeing this, my classmates started mocking me for being an idiot. Even my homeroom teacher, who originally had high hopes for me, angrily scolded me for wasting his training. Seeing this, I just smiled without saying a word. Instead, I sold everything I owned and bought a full 100 pounds of monster meat to feed the puppy and activate its hidden talent. At this moment, I patted its little head. A contract prompt suddenly echoed in my mind. Loyalty will never betray. Do you wish to initiate a lifebound link? I resolutely chose yes. Amidst a soul-tearing agony, I screamed and collapsed to the ground. The surrounding classmates thought I couldn't handle the mental blow and started mocking me one after another. My school beauty girlfriend, Liu Ruyen, also walked over. With a hint of apology, she said, "I'm sorry. The college entrance exam is the only opportunity for ordinary families like ours to climb the social ladder. Just now, Liu Liang, who is a lancer, already agreed to team up with me, so I won't be joining you." I casually stood up and replied, "No problem." Hearing this plain and simple response, the words she was about to use to explain herself got stuck. A feeling of being disregarded welled up in her heart. She immediately let out a cold snort and mercilessly turned around to leave. A girl next to her looked over with disgust in her eyes. "He's definitely just pretending not to care. Ruyan, you didn't do anything wrong, why be so humble? He can only summon a palm-sized black dog. How is he worthy of you?" However, I completely ignored the two of them, because right after the lifebound link was completed, I discovered that the puppy had awakened an SSS rank talent, gluttonous overeating. It can convert any food swallowed into energy, grow without limits, and break through shackles to evolve. It seems the pain wasn't for nothing. Looking at the entire Great Sha, people who have awakened SSS rank talents can be counted on one hand. For every new one that appears, the country places immense importance on them and provides protection. The reason, naturally, is that they are overwhelmingly powerful. I grabbed the little black dog, pulled it up to my face, and said, "From now on, your name is Haiming. You have to work hard for me." Haiming licked itself, looking utterly delighted. I threw a meat steak at it, and in no time, it was eaten clean. Devoured normal meat, evolution value plus 0.5. As the voice appeared, Haiming's size grew slightly, almost imperceptibly. All its base attributes increased by 1 point, and this was just from eating a normal meat steak. If it could devour more food later, to what terrifying level could it reach? Thinking of this, my heart couldn't stop racing. And what surprised me even more was that my own strength seemed to have improved a bit just now. It seems my cheat ability allows a portion of the energy my summon gains to feed back into me. Consequently, I spent over 6,000 to buy a full 100 pounds of mutated beast meat. With a thought, I summoned Haiming. Seeing the bright red mutated beast meat in front of it, Haiming felt a strong craving to devour coming from deep within its body. It immediately opened its mouth and began tearing into it, frantically converting all the mutated meat it consumed. As it continued to devour, boundless energy filled Haiming's entire body. Its size was rapidly growing at a visible rate. At the same time, I also felt every part of my body being enhanced. Half an hour passed. By now, Haiming's size had surged to over 2 meters. All of my attributes had increased by 10 points, making me stand out in any class. Haiming's almost cheat-like way of getting stronger allowed me to quickly close the gap with others. Thinking of this, I no longer hesitated and clicked the system's Evolve button. The moment I confirmed, the terrifying source of the talent deep within Haiming vibrated. Suddenly, waves of a special black evolutionary power erupted. Cells divided, genes recombined, and its lifeform leaped toward a higher tier. Congratulations, your summoned beast Haiming has acquired the skill. Tier. Congratulations, your summoned beast Haiming has awakened a new talent. Gigantification. Increases body size by 3 times. Strength and defense increased by 300%. Speed decreased by 50%. With this evolution, all of Haiming's attributes broke past 50 points, and this was only at level 1. Not even top-tier summoned beasts could compare. The human race classifies summoned beasts into 4 levels: low, mid, high, and top. The standard of judgment is their talent. S rank is high tier. SS rank is top tier. As for a summoned beast reaching SSS rank talent, none has ever appeared until now. Afterwards, I took Haiming home to sleep, ready to see what kind of freaks and monsters the entrance exam would bring tomorrow. The next day, countless people participating in the college entrance exam gathered at the plaza. Lu Wen was explaining in detail the mechanics of entering the dungeon, and some details we needed to pay attention to. This exam grouped students from several top-tier high schools together. The level of competition was practically maxed out. Liu Liang, who had been brimming with confidence earlier, was now sweating profusely. Chen Lin, did you really need to come? You might as well just give up directly. Save yourself the humiliation. There is a good saying, if you never compete, you can fool yourself into thinking you never lost. The person speaking was named Ye Chao. Besides him, there was also Liu Ruyen, wearing a mage robe that highlighted her graceful figure. Obviously, they were teammates. I paid them no mind. As a bell chimed, 4 massive bronze doors opened simultaneously. The slightly opened cracks instantly poured out waves of cold, eerie aura. None of the students hesitated. They immediately checked the information of the dungeon they were about to enter. We're doomed. Our second high school got the bone-burying forest. It's one of the dungeons with the highest failure rates. All dungeons have roughly the same difficulty. What are you yelling about? Your third high school got an easier one. Of course you have no complaints. Seeing this, Lu Wen hurriedly reminded the students behind him. The terrain of the bone-burying forest is complex. The trees and shrubs are very dense. You must be extremely careful of sneak attacks from monsters. Always stay alert to anything happening around you. Then, Lu Wen took out a device resembling a wristwatch. This is a recorder made by the mechanics. It can transmit the points you earn in the dungeon to the outside. Right after that, another bell rang out, signaling the official start of the college entrance exam. A girl wearing white armor, with long ice blue hair and an exquisitely beautiful face, was the first to enter a dungeon. It's senior Su Lingshe from our 3rd high school. She chose to enter the dungeon alone. The more people you have in a team, the fewer points you'll earn. People with real strength will naturally choose to run it solo. Countless underclassmen sitting around the plaza discussed with each other in excitement. With a slight shift of my thoughts, I connected to the dungeon. Instantly, a white light enveloped me alone, as I also chose to run the dungeon solo. After everyone had entered the dungeons, a level 20 middle-aged man raised his hand and waved. 4 water screens appeared, projecting scenes from within the dungeons. Just then, a flash of white light appeared. A student from the 2nd high school chose to forfeit and exit the dungeon voluntarily. All the teachers from the 2nd high school exchanged glances and collectively lowered their heads in utter silence. Feeling many mocking gazes directed their way, Li Mingzhi's face instantly darkened. He stared silently at the water screen. The slowly shifting images on the water screen suddenly showed a lone young man. He was navigating the dense forest, observing his surroundings. Li Mingzhi looked surprised. Running it solo? During our 2nd high school's class awakenings yesterday, did we produce a student with such outstanding ability? Hearing this, Lu Wen didn't know what to say. He knew very well that I was just an ordinary summoner. However, at this moment inside the dungeon, after a brief wave of dizziness, I immediately braced myself and looked around. Suddenly, the sound of an object falling rang out. Without a trace of hesitation, I clenched my left hand, and an over 1 meter long staff appeared out of thin air. A dark green, bucket-thick worm leaped down from above. Its head split wide open, revealing dense, terrifying rows of teeth. I gripped my staff and drew out a flash of a white blade from the other end. It instantly pierced through the dark green worm's body. Cut in half, the dark green worm fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. You have successfully killed a venom toothworm. Gained 5 EXP. At the same time, the device worn on my wrist lit up with a notification. Points plus 15. At this moment, everyone outside was dumbfounded. Isn't he a summoner? But that reaction speed and reflex, only someone with high agility stats could possibly pull that off. Lu Wen was equally bewildered. Although I had performed exceptionally well in previous combat practice classes, it was nowhere near as absurdly impressive as this. After killing the dark green worm, I set off toward the heart of the forest. Right at that moment, accompanied by an eerie, unnatural screech, short, hideous creatures with bright green skin began to appear. I recognized them at a glance. They were goblins. Textbooks described them as vicious, rapid breeders. Without food, they would even cannibalize their own kind. I did a rough estimate. There had to be at least 50 or 60 of them. If a swarm this large rushed me all at once, my chances of survival were practically 0. Immediately, I called out in my mind, "Haiming!" Instantly, a flash of white light appeared, and a long, resounding wolf howl echoed through the forest canopy. Haiming's cold, slit-like pupils locked onto the horde of goblins charging wildly toward us. Bearing its fangs, it pushed off with all 4 limbs, launching itself like a cannonball. The leading goblin's skull shattered instantly, and the sheer momentum sent it flying backward. The goblins on both sides shrieked, raising their weapons and slamming them down. Their sharp-boned weapons struck Haiming's back, only to crack and shatter instantly. Haiming viciously swiped its claw at a goblin's head, causing its skull to literally explode. Abandoning all defense, Haiming went on a frenzied killing spree. Even with their low intelligence, the goblins felt a deep, instinctual terror. They stopped their attack and fled in a blind panic. "Since you're here, don't even think about leaving." I directed Haiming on which ones to hunt down, while I charged at the nearest goblin myself. Witnessing this brutal scene, the spectators outside were in an uproar. Holy shit. Does our 2nd high school really have such a badass senior? It's one thing for his summon to be strong, but how is his own combat power so high? Is he hacking? In the viewing stands of 2nd high, the freshmen and sophomores were buzzing with excitement. Just over 10 minutes ago, when they saw me encounter the goblins, everyone assumed I'd be eliminated. Yet, just 1 man and 1 beast wiped out the entire goblin pack. Seeing this, Li Mingzhi's face lit up with joy. To reach this level so quickly, he must have at least a B-rank talent, and a growth type 1 at that. His potential is virtually on par with a high-level summon. Is 2nd high finally producing a genius who can be the face of our school? He hastily asked the person behind him, "How many points does Chen Lin have now?" According to the tracker, his current score is 560 points. He's ranked 1st in 2nd high. But Su Lingshui from 3rd high is even more terrifying. Her score is 830, leading the entire field by a massive margin. Hearing this, Li Mingzhi and the other teachers all gasped in shock. They had been in the dungeon for less than 20 minutes. This score was enough to contend for the Provincial Championship. Back in the dungeon, orbs of light floated out from the goblin corpses and absorbed into my body. I quickly leveled up to level 2, and my spirit stats slightly increased by 5 points. This was the drawback of an ordinary class. Even if you kept up in leveling, as time went on, the gap in stats would only grow wider, eventually becoming an insurmountable chasm. However, I could bridge that gap through Haiming stat sharing. Although my score had already reached the passing mark, practically guaranteeing my admission to the academy, my goal didn't stop there. Nearby, Haiming was loudly crunching on the goblin corpses. "Haiming, let's go. The real hunt begins now." Goblins are highly social monsters. Since a troop of them appeared here, their nest must be nearby. About 10 minutes passed without encountering a single monster along the way. This confirmed my theory. Although they call it a dungeon, it's more like a unique, isolated world. Things in here don't just magically respawn. They operate according to their own natural laws. Suddenly, Several bone spears came flying at me from midair. Goblins began pouring out from all directions, howling wildly as they charged with their weapons. Without a trace of fear on my face, I shifted my staff into its sword form and instantly decapitated an incoming goblin. Like an unstoppable force, I concentrated fully, rapidly slaughtering the fragile goblins. With every dodge, my blade accurately claimed their lives. In that moment, I was like a butterfly dancing in the wind. Only my wings were scythes of death. This battle was as elegant as art, thrilling the spectators watching from the outside. Everyone, from the teachers to the students, was watching with amazement. His combat technique is so masterful. He must have put a lot of effort into this. His swordsmanship is even better. He's accurately slitting their throats every single time. If he were off by even a millimeter, it wouldn't be a kill. By now, they had stopped watching the other candidates. All eyes were locked on me, not looking away for a single second. Lu Wen's mouth twitched. In all 3 years of high school, he had never once seen me touch a sword during practical combat lessons. This kid is way too good at hiding his true strength. Wait, those are level 6 enraged goblins. A full 13 of them. Chen Lin is in trouble. Hold on, there are fire goblins and ice goblins too. Looking for a goblin nest all by himself. That's way too risky. The teachers couldn't help but feel a pang of worry. With the appearance of these elite goblins, the horde seemed to find its backbone and stopped attacking in a disorganized frenzy. As the fire goblins began to chant, fist-sized fireballs materialized and hurtled toward me. I dodged out of the way with a few quick sidesteps. Seeing an opening, the other goblins took the opportunity to strike. I tilted my head slightly to evade an incoming bone spear, immediately grabbed the goblin by the neck, and hurled it into the path of an incoming fireball. A bright burst of flames erupted, completely engulfing the goblin's body. Turning into a human launcher, I grabbed the goblins one by one and hurled them like cannonballs straight at the fire goblins. My god, you can fight like that? All the students watching from the outside were absolutely stunned. Even the homeroom teacher, Lu Wen, was dumbfounded by this tactic. He was pretty sure he had never taught that. By this point, I had battered the fire goblins into a dizzy stupor. If they cast their spells, they'd hit their own kind. If they didn't, they'd be killed. Amidst the chaos, Haiming flanked them from the rear, taking them down one by one. Out of over 100 goblins, only a few solitary stragglers remained. They had no choice but to flee. However, I didn't wipe them all out this time. I leisurely trailed behind them, intending to destroy their nest directly. Chasing the fleeing survivors, I entered a cave. Suddenly, a few scrawny green figures lunged at me from the rock wall above. Tightening my grip, I swung the sword staff firmly in a single arc. The goblin's head and body hit the ground separately. The remaining two were swiftly caught by Haiming, whose night vision allowed him to easily snap them up and happily crunch them down. Suddenly, countless torches illuminated the corner of the tunnel. My expression shifted, and I instantly dashed backward. Countless grotesque figures were crawling all over the walls. With a solemn expression, I roared, "Haiming!" Using his gigantification talent, Haiming's body instantly expanded at a terrifying rate. He violently charged forward, ramming the midair goblins aside. The surrounding goblins were sent flying in all directions. With a swipe of his massive claw, he crushed them flat, leaving nothing but a bloody mess. Right at that moment, a deafening, savage roar echoed out. A hideous monster with a thickly furred neck, bulging muscles, and the height of a small building slowly stepped out, glaring furiously at Haiming. My expression darkened. It was actually a boss, an actual boss. The troll kicked off with its legs and charged, making the entire cavern rumble. With every step it took, the ground violently shook. Completely fearless, Haiming charged straight at it. Black light coated Haiming's sharp claws. He landed the first strike on the troll's body, leaving 4 shallow gashes. Enraged by the pain, the troll became even more savage. Its massive, meter-wide hands grabbed Haiming by the head and violently slammed him down. Haiming's legs buckled under the force. He let out a whimper as blood trickled from his mouth. Seeing Haiming pinned down, I immediately cast my class skill, Strengthening Spell, boosting all his base stats by 20%. Strands of white light enveloped Haiming. Instantly, he flipped the massive troll onto the ground and ripped off a chunk of its flesh with his jaws. The troll's eyes turned blood red as it activated its bloodlust skill. The two beasts locked in combat, their brawl growing increasingly frenzied. I maintained the strengthening spell while continuously casting recovery spells. The commotion echoed for hundreds of meters. Any students who heard it were utterly shocked. The bosses in the bone-bearing forest were at least level 12. What kind of madman was actually fighting one? At that moment, a 3-person squad hurried over, hoping to lend a hand and snag a share of the loot. But when they arrived, they froze in their tracks. The one fighting the boss wasn't a team. It was just me. Just then, I delivered the final blow with my sword, and the HP bar above the troll's head dropped from 1 to 0. None of the surrounding students had dared to intervene. Liu Liang and Liu Ruyan were among them. The two stared forward, utterly dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that little wolf had grown into this in just 1 day. At that moment, a 4-person squad walked over. It was Zhao Huiyang from the elite class. He smiled and said, "I didn't expect our school to have a badass like you. Your summon looks pretty badly hurt. Do you need us to heal it? Our team has an incredible holy priest." The moment he said that, Zhao Huiyang got kicked by the cute girl behind him. I looked at them, smiled, and said, "No need, but thank you." Hearing this, they prepared to leave. But just as they were leaving, they accidentally caught a glimpse of my score, 5,320 points. Zhao Huiyang almost let a curse word slip. Right at that moment, a blushing Liu Ruyan walked over. As it stopped right in front of her, Haiming's blood-red eyes stared at her coldly. Lu Ruyan instantly felt as if she had been plunged into an ice cave. Her legs gave out uncontrollably. I didn't even turn around to give her a single glance, afraid I might fall for her sweet trap once again. After that, I headed back into the cave to let Haiming continue feeding and strengthening itself. Once Haiming had devoured all the monsters, it was enveloped by a cocoon of energy. It seems this evolution far surpasses the one from the beast meat last time. I just wonder, once it emerges, what kind of combat power it will possess. Before long, a pair of sharp claws tore open the glowing cocoon. Haiming emerged, its size having grown once again. Its slitted pupils had turned deep blue, exuding a cold, noble aura. It also gained new skills: deterrence and flames. Even its talent leveled up by a tier. It was an absolute, all-around transformation. There was only 1 hour left until the college entrance exam ended. Riding Haiming, I started hunting for other monster strongholds. About 10 minutes later, Haiming and I entered the territory of another boss, the level 15 Twisted Tree King. Seeing me head straight for the Twisted Tree King, Li Mingji, watching from the outside, couldn't stop frowning. He knew that whether it was HP or attack power, the Twisted Tree King was more than double the stats of the troll. Meanwhile, I was only level 4, and to pull off such a massive leap in combat power was exceptionally rare, even across the entire country. Inside the dungeon, the moment I stepped onto the muddy ground, trees with blood-red eyes began to awaken, one after another. Their massive trunks split open, extending backward. I watched as they uprooted themselves, thrusting their jagged branches at me. I wasn't afraid in the slightest and dashed forward. In a flash, I drew the hidden blade from my staff. In the blink of an eye, I unleashed 5 strikes so fast that after images appeared, the branches were instantly severed, crashing to the ground. My eyes turned cold. I closed the distance to the treant in just a few quick strides and thrust my blade straight into its gaping maw. A copious amount of sap gushed wildly from its massive mouth. The treant's HP bar hit 0 instantly, and it collapsed to the ground. Seeing their kin die so brutally, the surrounding treants aggressively swarmed over to surround me. Just then, Haiming let out a furious roar, shredding a treant in front of it with a single swipe of its claws. Then pitch-black flames erupted from its body, cloaking it completely. It ignited the treants, and the fire rapidly spread to the others. The treants shrieked frantically, twisting in pure terror. However, no matter how hard they struggled, they couldn't extinguish the black flames. The fire was fueled by devouring their very life force. Seeing this, even I was a bit surprised. I didn't expect Haiming's flame attributes to be so insanely overpowered. Very quickly, the treants were reduced to ashes within the sea of pitch-black flames. The dark flames then returned into Haiming's body. With these flames, it basically meant Haiming could skip the process of eating meat and absorb energy directly. In just a short time, both Haiming and I leveled up again. My score immediately shot up to 7,120 points. Just then, the ground suddenly erupted. Countless arm-thick golden branches instantly shot up to strangle us. A furious, brutal roar echoed from a distance. Flanked by over 100 treants, a massive tree king over 100 meters tall slowly appeared. I silently took a step back, as even though my base stats had all surpassed 50 points now, charging in headfirst would likely end in my doom. I was still very self-aware of my limits. Haiming, go take them down. Strong enemies should definitely be left to the summons. A fierce glint flashed in Haiming's eyes as pitch-black flames erupted around its body. It charged directly at the central Twisted Tree King in its most powerful form. The dark flames greedily devoured everything in their path. Treants continuously let out agonizing howls. I seized the opportunity to dash in and finish them off. Watching its kin die in agony, one after another, the Twisted Tree King let out a deafening roar. Countless golden branches shot out to attack Haiming. Haiming completely ignored defending itself, and wildly charged straight at the Tree King's main body. A dark glow enveloped Haiming's razor-sharp claws as it viciously swiped down at the Twisted Tree King, ripping off chunks of its bark. The Twisted Tree King's face twisted in malice, all of its branches thrust at Haiming from every possible angle. However, relying on its physical durability, Haiming traded blows blow for blow. The pitch-black flames slowly began to creep up the tree's massive body. The Twisted Tree King's eyes filled with dread. It could feel its life force being slowly eroded away. Terrified, the Twisted Tree King frantically tried to flee, but Haiming let out another fierce roar. Instantly, the dark flames wrapped around it like binding chains. Haiming's assault grew even more brutal and relentless. At that moment, Zhao Huyang and the other 3, who had rushed over to help, swallowed hard. Their faces were filled with pure shock. A level 15 tier 2 boss, the Twisted Tree King, is actually being completely one-sidedly beaten? I was a little surprised to see them as well. Right at that moment, the booming sound of a massive object crashing down echoed, signaling that the Twisted Tree King was defeated. A white light enveloped me, and my level shot out to level 8. At the same time, the score on my tracker surged by another 3,000 points. I then let the 4 of them finish off the remaining treants. Isn't earning points a little too easy? Miao Shanshan stared with her mouth slightly agape. In just 10 short minutes, their scores had already reached the minimum admission requirement for a top university. Haven't we had to fight for our lives every time we faced monsters before? Zhao Huiyang shook his head. It's because the deterrence of Chenlin's Haiming is simply too overwhelming. No matter how many of these treants we slaughter, not a single one of them even dares to look back. Meanwhile, all the dark flames had already flown back into Haiming's body. Haiming's normal resting size had now grown to 7 meters. All of my base stats had broken past 70 points as well. My level had just hit level 10. I was ready for my first class transition. This college entrance exam was finally over for me. The dungeon began its forced teleportation. Shrouded in pillars of white light, Countless students were successively transported back to the massive plaza. Waves of loud cheers immediately erupted to welcome them back. Haiming's 7-meter tall figure sat quietly right beside me, imposing and unmoving like a mountain. He actually secured first place. Li Mingjie and the other teachers were flushed red with excitement. It's terrifying that he has a whole 3 talents and is terrifyingly strong himself, making his feat of slaughtering so many monsters as a summoner completely unprecedented. Old Lu, you've really nurtured an incredible student, so come on, let's hurry up and go welcome Chen Lin. Li Mingjie impatiently dragged the rest of them over. Meanwhile, on the far edge of the plaza, Lu Rian's face was green with regret. She had given up on the dungeon and was eliminated an hour ago. Her score wasn't even high enough to get into an advanced academy. It's all his fault, as his summon clearly wasn't weak at all, but he deliberately kept it from me. If he had just told me, I wouldn't have teamed up with Lu Liang in the first place. Thinking of this, Lu Rian's gaze turned thoroughly venomous. At the same time, Su Lingshe was also surrounded by the teachers and principal of 3rd High. They sighed among themselves. 2nd High really got incredibly lucky to produce such an absolute monster. Indeed, but don't be discouraged, Lingshui, because your score of 19,500 is already excellent. Su Lingshui smiled to show she was completely fine. Then, she cast a curious glance in the direction of 2nd High, deep in thought. Right at that moment, the provincial ranking list was announced, and without a doubt, I was ranked firmly in 1st place. I could only admit that Haiming was undeniably overpowered. Not only was there no limit to its growth, but its combat power also became increasingly terrifying with each evolution. Now, I was already looking forward to my next summoned beast. After heading home, I shared the good news with my sister and mother, and the reward of 1 million Huaxia coins for ranking 1st in the province finally arrived in my account. From now on, my mom and sister won't have to live a frugal life anymore. I then returned to my room to prepare for my first ascension. The first ascension requires clearing a randomly matched reincarnation dungeon. Looking at the panel, I clicked on first ascension without hesitation. I instantly vanished from the room. Coordinate number 08694. This is a world riddled with scars on the verge of collapse. The spark of humanity is about to be extinguished. Will you bring salvation or destruction? Optional Quest 1, eliminate 1,000 Calamity Beasts. Protect survivors to the best of your ability. Optional Quest 2, help the Calamity Mother Beast devour everything and evolve. Number of participants, 10. Time limit, 24 hours. Cannot voluntarily return to the blue planet. I appeared suddenly amidst a pile of ruins. Without any warning, I frowned slightly. Without a second thought, I chose the first quest. If the Calamity Mother Beast devours everything, then what will my Haiming eat? Just then, a figure flew backward to the glass door next to me. Countless shards accompanied a petite girl as she crashed to the ground. A skinless, blood-red reptilian Calamity Beast darted out from the dimly lit store and lunged at the girl. The girl struggled to reach for a long blade nearby, but she was a step too late. The fear of death welled up in her heart, and she instinctively raised her hands to protect herself. Just then, a flash of a sword instantly slashed through. The reptilian Calamity Beast's head was severed from its body. The monster lost its balance in midair and crashed to the ground. I looked at the stunned girl beside me and spoke, "Hello, my name is Chen Lin. I'm Lu Yu." I was about to ask her about the situation in this world when a woman's sharp shout rang out. "Something's wrong. Everyone, retreat." Lu Yu's expression instantly changed. She grabbed me, trying to leave. "Hurry, let's go." However, before she could finish, a car flew straight at us from a distance. I suddenly pulled hard, throwing Lu Yu behind me. I held my staff horizontally in front of me, intending to take the hit head on. Under the massive impact of the car, I was pushed back over 10 meters before coming to a complete stop. Lu Yu panicked, endured her pain, and rushed over. "Are you okay?" I calmed my churning blood and chi, shook my head, and then looked ahead at a bipedal beast covered in ferocious spikes. "It's a blade fiend. We can't get away." Lu Yu's gaze grew solemn, her fingers unconsciously tightening around her hilt. The blade fiend walked faster and faster. In the next instant, the ground beneath its feet caved in as it dashed forward. Before Lu Yu could even react, a figure brushed past her and instantly charged to meet it. I drew the hidden sword from my staff. It clashed with the blade fiend's sharp-bladed arms, emitting a crisp, metallic clank. The blade fiend roared, swinging its other bladed arm to chop at my head. I forcefully repelled it and shouted at Lu Yu, "Lu Yu, throw me your blade." Hearing this, Lu Yu didn't hesitate. She drew her blade and tossed it to me. My eyes burned with fighting spirit. "Now, let's go again." The blade fiend seemed to feel the provocation and instantly charged forward. Its two-bladed arms swung wildly. I wasn't afraid at all. Wielding a blade in one hand and a sword in the other, we exchanged dozens of blows back and forth within seconds, moving so fast that afterimages appeared. After 1,000 clashes, I found an opening. I tilted my head slightly to dodge a fatal strike, and immediately followed with an upward slash from my left hand's blade. The sharp edge instantly severed the blade fiend's arm. Not giving it time to react, my sword immediately pierced toward its heart, penetrating its hardened skin and stabbing straight through its back. Lu Yu held her still aching arm, walked over, and asked, "You're not from around here." I neither confirmed nor denied it, just smiled faintly. "Could you tell me a bit about this world?" "It's the miasma. It lasted for a whole month. More and more people couldn't bear the torment and went mad. Eventually, they turned into monsters that only know how to kill. Now, the miasma has mutated again. Even weapons, and even mountains and rivers will be corrupted. Humanity no longer knows how to survive." Hearing this, I gained a general understanding of this world. Just then, over a dozen people appeared around the street corner. They all looked panicked. "Xiao Yu, why are you still here? Run, quickly!" The tall woman leading them shouted loudly. As she spoke, The ground faintly trembled. It felt like an erupting flood was surging towards us. Above, a massive amount of scarlet miasma gathered. Suddenly, roars echoed from all directions. Many calamity beasts appeared on top of the tall buildings, their bloodthirsty eyes glaring at everyone. In that moment, the scarlet miasma formed a wall, completely surrounding everyone, and constantly closing in. Everyone's legs slowed down as despair welled up from the bottom of their hearts. Everyone gulped. Xiao Yu, stay close to me later. After Lulu said that, she glanced at me, assuming I was from another survivor group. I didn't mind and walked straight ahead. Wait, what are you doing? We are surrounded right now. This isn't the time for you to play the hero alone. A grin spread across my face. No, no, no. They are surrounded by me. With so many calamity beasts, if I kill them all, my rating will skyrocket. Heiming, amidst a flash of white light, the 7-meter-tall Heiming instantly appeared. Its roar echoed through the sky. Heiming's vertical pupils stared coldly at the tidal wave of calamity beasts ahead. Then, it directly entered its gigantification form. It instantly surged to 28 meters in size, its body towering over some of the buildings. Heiming pushed off with its 4 limbs, instantly shattering the ground with countless spreading cracks, and charged into the beast horde like a missile. Under the scorching high heat, none of the calamity beasts could last more than a few seconds. They died howling in pain, turning into nutrients. Everyone watching this scene from behind was completely dumbfounded. Suddenly, a dozen calamity beasts launched an attack on me. Watch out! Seeing this, Lulu immediately shouted a warning and moved quickly, wanting to assist. However, in the next second, she froze in her tracks. She watched as I advanced instead of retreating. My sword and blade moved like chopping vegetables, slaughtering all the attacking beasts in the blink of an eye. Lulu's jaw dropped. He clearly has no signs of miasma corruption. He should be very weak. Suddenly, Lulu thought of a possibility. Half a year ago, while scavenging for supplies, she had seen people who were similarly uncorrupted yet very strong. Those people destroyed the survivors' hidden bases, exposing them to the calamity beasts to be killed. Even when they saw survivors trying to run, they would just break their legs. A bunch of inhuman scumbags, yet they have the nerve to call themselves our kin. Lulu hasn't forgotten those words to this day. Chen Lin is different from those people before. He saved me twice. Seeming to realize what Lulu was thinking, Luyu hurriedly explained. Lulu took a deep breath. There was a hint of hatred in her eyes. No matter what, stay away from him. Now he's attracting the attention of most of the victims. We took the opportunity to break through. However, just as they approached, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck down. No passing through here. A blonde-haired youth holding a book walked out from the building. As the blonde youth chanted, orbs of lightning materialized. Just then, my expression changed instantly. I swung my blade sideways to block. Suddenly, a dagger struck my blade. A beautiful woman slowly revealed herself in front of me. Without hesitation, my sword instantly slashed across her slender waist. But the beautiful woman suddenly vanished and reappeared dozens of meters away. Without saying a word, I pushed off the ground forcefully and charged straight at her. Seeing this, the beautiful woman immediately shouted, "Aren't you going to attack?" As her voice fell, a surging stream of fire rushed out from a building. We crashed into each other, sending sparks flying. "Are you really a summoner?" The burly man within the flames clicked his tongue. Scorching flames rushed at my face. With a cold expression, I repelled him with my blade. Immediately, 4 people walked out from different directions. Killing each other in a reincarnation dungeon is forbidden. Anyone caught will be immediately wanted. Except for reincarnation dungeons with divided factions. I didn't expect someone to actually choose Quest 1. Didn't your Daxia teach you how to make choices in reincarnation dungeons to increase your chances of survival? The calamity beasts obviously have the biggest advantage. Anyone with half a brain should know what to choose. Seeing these 6 treating me as prey caught in a trap, I merely said faintly, "Have you all heard a saying? The best hunters often appear in the guise of prey. I attracted you all with such a high profile. How could I not be confident in dealing with you? You all spoke very beautifully just now. As a reward, I invite you to your deaths. How about it?" I slowly began to laugh. The dishes have all been served. It's time for Heiming to feast. A tyrannical roar echoed in all directions. Pitch black flames within a 100-meter radius melted into the giant black wolf. In an instant, its size grew by another 8 meters, making it look even more brutal and intimidating. Everyone immediately felt a deep terror originating from their souls. Watching the giant black wolf charging towards them, a chilling sensation instantly shot from the soles of the 4's feet to their scalps. Their brains were almost crushed by the sheer terror. Finally, just as the giant black wolf's claws were about to strike, 3 people overcame their mental block and instantly dodged in different directions. The last unlucky guy didn't even have time to scream before being instantly torn apart by the giant black wolf. Seeing this scene, the remaining few broke out in a cold sweat. They originally thought delaying the summon would be enough, but for him as a summoner, having combat power on par with theirs was already absurd enough. But aside from its formidable physical strength and terrifying damage output, it also has crowd control skills. Forget about stalling it. We'd be lucky not to get completely wiped out by it within 3 minutes. Seeing the giant black wolf rush towards the closest person, the blonde youth gritted his teeth and quickly chanted an obscure spell. Instantly, violent lightning intertwined, condensing into chains half a meter thick. They instantly wrapped around the giant black wolf's limbs and neck. "Quick, kill him! I can only hold it for 10 seconds. Before the blonde youth could finish speaking, the giant black wolf pulled hard with its right claw, and the lightning chain shattered directly. How is this possible? This is my A-rank talent. The blonde youth was dumbfounded. Heiming's strength surged once again. Seeing the scene, no one dared to hesitate, and they directly used their respective trump cards. The elegant woman turned into several shadows, stabbing towards me from different angles. Suddenly, countless ice spikes appeared above her head, falling down one after another, forcing her to continuously retreat. A young girl with ice blue hair was walking gracefully towards us. Centered on her feet, the ground gradually covered with frost. The approaching calamity beasts were unsurprisingly frozen into statues. "I'll stop him." The burly man, surging with raging flames, charged straight ahead. The other three attacked simultaneously, wanting to insta-kill me. However, right at this moment, a loud roar sounded. "You little brats, look at me." Taunt skill activated. Instantly, all three turned their heads, glaring fiercely at the tall, fat guy holding a shield. Subsequently, the giant black wolf appeared behind the three who had lost their minds. The next second, its sharp claws tore through, and the three were split into pieces. Then, Ming turned around and smashed its claws into a nearby building. Countless pieces of rubble shot towards the elegant woman, tearing through her clothes and piercing her skin. Ming instantly caught up, raised its claws and slammed them down. Pitch black flames completely engulfed her body. On the other side, an icy current suddenly erupted. Wherever it passed, buildings and lifeforms all turned into ice sculptures. The burly man was instantly turned into an ice block. At this point, only one of the 7 prey remained. Then, everyone looked at the blonde youth with murderous intent. The blonde youth's face instantly turned pale. He unleashed a barrage of lightning strikes and turned to run. With just a few quick flashes, I dodged them all. Then, with a swing of my long blade, the blonde youth was decapitated. I turned around and asked, "Do you know about the Calamity Mother Beast?" Lu Yu nodded. "It's an entity that stood out from countless Calamity Beasts and gained a newly born consciousness. Are you going to kill the Calamity Mother Beast?" I nodded. "Only by killing it can I achieve the highest rating, and only then can I bring a sliver of salvation to this world." At this time, Su Lingshui walked over. "We meet again, Chen Lin." Holy crap. Before I could answer, the tall fat guy spoke in shock. "Boss, you're actually the top scorer of Dongtian province. No wonder you're so amazing." After chatting for a moment, the three of us got a bit more familiar. I also learned that the tall fat guy's name was Luo Xuan. I told them about my plan to kill the Calamity Mother Beast. The two agreed without a second thought. The three of us set off immediately, heading towards the city center. Soon, we arrived at a large bridge. Suddenly, Calamity Beasts lit up their red eyes and swarmed towards us like crazy. Ming immediately unleashed a deterrent aura, then charged into the horde of Calamity Beasts packing the street. Pitch black flames exploded. My face darkened. The Calamity Mother Beast has found us. Su Lingshui's eyes took on an ice blue hue, looking like an indifferent deity. Instantly, above her head, sharp and fierce ice spikes appeared. With a slight stir of Su Lingshui's mind, all the ice spikes shot towards the beast horde, blocking us from behind. Countless Calamity Beasts had their bodies pierced, falling row by row like harvested crop. But soon, even more Calamity Beasts surged forward. All the Calamity Beasts in the entire city were converging here from all directions. At this point, I gradually felt the pressure mounting. With the entire city's hundreds of thousands or even millions of Calamity Beasts, we couldn't kill them all even if we exhausted our stamina. So I shouted loudly, "Cut off the head of the snake! Ming, go straight for the Calamity Mother Beast!" Hearing my words, Ming immediately turned and charged towards the bridge. On the other side, there was a dangerous aura. It was the Calamity Mother Beast. As Ming reached the other side of the bridge, a massive dark red tentacle, over 10 meters thick, suddenly emerged from the miasma and whipped against its body. Several buildings were consecutively smashed down by Ming, only stopping over 20 meters away. Ming roared in anger, shaking off the dust, and stood up from the countless concrete and rubble. Its cold vertical pupils deadlocked onto the Calamity Mother Beast in front of it. The beast's massive 60-meter eye-like body and its countless smaller eyes all stared back at Ming. Ming's pitch-black flames erupted furiously as it launched a direct attack, its body dashing forward in an instant. Under Ming's full-power sprint, the ruined buildings shook continuously. The giant eyeball's countless smaller eyes abruptly contracted, and 15 dark red tentacles lashed out at Ming. Watching the incoming dark red tentacles, Ming dodged whatever it could. When it couldn't dodge, its claws glowed with black light and slashed fiercely at them. However, it only produced the sound of grating metal. Ming was suddenly struck by one of the dark red tentacles and sent flying backward. The hard-earned distance it had closed was widened again. Previously, Ming relied on gigantification and its subsequent formidable strength and defense to engage in close combat and overpower enemies. But now, facing the knockback from the giant eyeball's tentacles, it had no countermeasure at all. Amidst a roar, the pitch-black flames erupted without holding back. Instantly, scorching high temperatures exploded and spread in all directions. Ming dashed out once again. Its internal mana was consumed at an extreme speed. It had chosen to make a desperate last stand. On the other side, I felt grim. Through my soul connection with Ming, I faintly sensed its life force slowly dropping. All right. Suddenly, Su Lingshui opened her glowing ice blue eyes. Myriad frost annihilation. The moisture in the air instantly vanished. Countless Calamity Beasts turned into ice crystals in the blink of an eye, with fragments scattering everywhere. Seizing this opening, I made a prompt decision. To the Calamity Mother Beast. Right now, only by letting Ming evolve will we have a sliver of hope. Soon, the three of us reached the city center. A roar came from ahead. We didn't hesitate and immediately rushed over. We quickly saw Ming, heavily injured and on the verge of death. Yet, its claws still gripped the ground tightly. Even as the dark red tentacles lashed at it, it stubbornly refused to retreat, walking forward firmly, step by step. Seeing this, I ran straight towards Ming. Ming, devour these Calamity Beasts. At the same time, I immediately cast healing and enhancement spells. A faint white light lit up on Ming's body. Its vertical pupils contracted, and it let out a fierce roar, shaking off the dark red tentacles. Hei Ming immediately charged into the horde of calamity beasts. Pitch black flames bloomed like a lotus flower and instantly spread. The giant eyeball also realized something was wrong and immediately issued a command, making all beasts stay away from there. But it was too late. Countless pitch black flames carrying devouring energy flooded into Hei Ming's body. I didn't hesitate to click Start Evolution on the panel. Terrifying black power instantly erupted from deep within Hei Ming's body, bursting outward to form a pitch-black pillar of light that shot into the sky. Hei Ming's body instantly expanded to over 100 meters in size. Congratulations, your summon Hei Ming has acquired the skill. Swiftness. Congratulations, your summon Hei Ming has acquired the new talent. Diamond Body. All attributes increased by 60 points. I let out a sigh of relief. It was another massive overall enhancement. Hei Ming stared at the giant eyeball with his vertical pupils. His entire body was completely renewed. His tough wool fur emitted a faint golden glow, looking majestic and divine. The giant eyeball's pupils trembled violently. The moment the black power erupted, it was completely paralyzed by this terrifying, all-devouring aura. But this was immediately followed by endless fury. It could also devour and evolve. It was the one destined to be the strongest existence. Its thick dark red tentacles whipped out simultaneously, causing the air itself to boom. Hei Ming was as firm as a rock, standing completely motionless. The 15 dark red tentacles whipped against his body, only making the golden light flicker slightly. The pitch-black flames, combining gluttony and gigantification, instantly exploded. The flames formed a 400-meter-tall phantom of a tyrannical, ferocious beast. In an instant, a 1,000-meter radius turned into a sea of black fire. Hei Ming lunged forward to the giant eyeball. As he raised his claws, the massive beast phantom also raised its claws. The claws condensed from pitch-black flames instantly slashed down. Several of the giant eyeball's pupils were instantly blinded, and it let out a shriek of agony. Its tentacles whipped frantically at Hei Ming, but failed to deal any damage. The giant eyeball roared, rapidly absorbing the evil aura into its body. In a flash, its size expanded massively. Countless sharp barbs began to grow on its dark red tentacles. This was the power it had saved for evolving to the next life stage, but now it had to use it early. The tentacles enveloped Hei Ming from all directions. Both sides attacked each other madly, causing the ground to tremble continuously. Roars echoed through the sky. Several hours passed. Only Hei Ming was left standing amidst the ruins. The giant eyeball's countless pupils dimmed as its entire body was slowly devoured by the pitch-black flames. At this moment, Su Ling Shui and I both smiled, and having killed a calamity mother beast and thousands of beasts, the rating we get will definitely be incredibly high. The next moment, along with the notification sound, the three of us vanished from the spot. Time is up, calculating your rating based on your performance. Total calamity beasts killed, 8,560. Successfully killed the calamity mother beast. Congratulations, your rating is perfect. Class Advanced 2, Summoning Swordmaster, Rare, Unique. Description, a bizarre class born because of you. Congratulations, you've comprehended a new class skill, Mana Sword Condensation. Skill effect, a sharp sword existing between reality and illusion, ignores all physical defenses of the target to deal one instance of mental trauma. I looked at the panel in surprise, ignoring physical defenses to directly inflict mental trauma. That meant as long as the opponent lacked mental defenses, I could instantly hack them to death. This skill was simply terrifying. Instantly, a sharp sword engraved with countless runes appeared in my hand. My mental energy was completely drained by condensing the mana sword. I shook my head and retracted it. It seemed this skill could only be used as a trump card. I smiled faintly, opened my phone, and after accepting the friend request from Lo Xuan and Su Ling Shui, I immediately saw a message from the top academies. Will arrive today at 2 p.m. You should come to the school. I thought about it. I had nothing else to do, so I got up and left right away. Fan Yun No, 2 High School. Lu Wen was waiting at the school gate. Seeing me, he hurried over. You're finally here. This time, a full 5 top academies have sent their tutors to our school. This is unprecedented in Fan Yun City. Following Lu Wen to the office, he took a dragon-shaped ring from the drawer. This is the city government's reward. It contains the equipment and skill books you need. My eyes lit up. These were exactly what I needed right now. My sword cane, a common quality equipment, had broken after enduring too many high-intensity battles. I took the ring and sent my consciousness into it. 2 messages instantly appeared. 1. Tianquan Sword Staff. Sword form, grants elite buff capable of breaking anything. Staff form, grants aura of wisdom, continuously restoring mental energy, and boosting any skill effect by 50%. 2. Skill book, close at hand. Effect, within a 100-meter radius, instantly step to your destination. Looking at the equipment and skill book, I was extremely satisfied. At around 2 p.m., a black designated vehicle stopped at the school. 5 men and women stepped out. Li Mingzhu looked solemn and stepped forward without the slightest neglect. Those who could be tutors at top academies were undoubtedly 5 awakening professionals. Even the mayor had to treat them with respect. Entering the reception room, Jifei sat down lazily and asked indifferently, "Where is Chen Lin?" Just then, the door was pushed open, and Lu Wen and I walked in. Jifei looked me up and down carefully. "Not bad with those looks. You should join my Skylark Academy." Feng Yi, sitting to the side, was instantly displeased. It's one thing to hear rumors outside, but does your Skylark Academy really recruit based on looks? He then turned and extended an olive branch to me. "Student Chen Lin, choose my Azure Sky Academy. You can pick any 3 types of resources you want as your enrollment gift." Only 3? Are you trying to dismiss a beggar? I think you're questioning the value of the top scorer of the Dongtian region. Right. "Student Chen Lin, he's looking down on you. Don't go there and suffer." Li Mingjie and Lu Wen were stunned by the scene. The atmosphere became a bit tense. Whoever dared to make the first offer would definitely be targeted by the other four. The scene gradually became chaotic. Jifei took a breath, looked at me, and suddenly said, "You've reached your first awakening, but you probably haven't started summoning yet, right? As long as you join Skylark, I can apply directly to the higher-ups to gather the best summoning materials for you. Your Black Wolf has a growth talent. Just name whatever resources you need, including offering my daughter." Hearing this, the other four fell silent. Even with their broad horizons, they felt these terms were too generous. There were no less than 10 students with scores over 20,000 this year. If they used up too many resources recruiting here in Dongtian, it would be hard to compete for the others later. Believing it wasn't worth it, the four silently gave up. I just shook my head. "Everything else is fine, but you can skip the daughter part." Jifei's brow relaxed, feeling joyful. "Alright, if you prefer someone more mature, I actually work too." I wanted to say that wasn't what I meant, but I swallowed the words on the tip of my tongue. In the end, I chose Skylark Academy. Not because Jifei was pretty, but mostly because she offered too much. Soon, the first day of school arrived. Zhuochong Provincial Capital, Zhongtian City, Skylark Academy. Countless top-scoring students from all over the country gathered here. I randomly picked a dorm room and went inside. It was fully equipped with various facilities and daily necessities. Just then, my special issue phone vibrated. A message popped up. "Your summoning materials have been approved. Also, let me know what other resources you need. I'll do my best to apply for them." After sending the message, Jifei leaned back in her soft chair. Beside her, Jiang Wuyu was puzzled. Our resources were enough to recruit 4 provincial top scorers. This far exceeds Chen Lin's own value. With all due respect, he doesn't match what we're giving him at all. Jifei just looked at him with a smile. "The freshman tournament is tomorrow. We'll see for ourselves then." I placed the summoning materials on the floor. I reached out a hand and opened it in the air. As I activated the summoning spell, the room was filled with white light. About a few minutes later, what caught my eye was a 60-centimeter entirely silver butterfly fluttering its 2 pairs of wings. It's not going to be another weak and sick one, is it? My mouth twitched as I silently checked its panel. Summon, silver butterfly. Level 10. Strength, 1. Constitution, un. Agility, 1. Magic, 1. Its total stats were only 4 points. It was even weaker than Heiming at the beginning. I shook my head. This had refreshed the lower limit of the weakest known summons, but it doesn't matter. I will grant you endless potential. Watching the silver butterfly slowly fly towards me, I held up my finger to let it land. Detection started. Loyalty, 100%. Will never betray. Do you wish to establish a life-bound connection? As I confirmed, an agonizing pain of a tearing soul instantly came from deep within. Congratulations, your summon has awakened the SSS rank unique talent. Myriad Divine Transformations. Can transform into any form and acquire different abilities. Just then, the silver butterfly dissolved into glowing light and transformed into my exact appearance. It said in a blank voice, "Master." After a preliminary understanding, I finally realized the true power of the Myriad Divine Transformations. I opened the box. Inside lay pieces of battle armor. I pointed at the silver butterfly and communicated with it through my mind. The silver butterfly nodded gently, transforming into glowing light. It wrapped around my arm. In an instant, the silver armor appeared, slowly covering my entire body. I didn't feel the slightest discomfort or extra weight. It was as if this armor had always been a part of my body. I looked satisfied. Moreover, the Myriad Divine Transformations possesses the ability to fuse with metals to enhance its hardness. Undoubtedly, just like greedy gluttony, it is an overpowered talent that can endlessly grow stronger. Thinking of this, I decided to level up the silver butterfly first. I sent a message to Jifei, asking for metal materials with special properties. In just half an hour, the items arrived. A notification showed they were all rare metal ores with different properties. Each one belonged to the category of precious resources. Back in my room, I let the silver butterfly fuse with them. Soon, the armor covering my body became incredibly hard. Even a second-tier professional would find it hard to break its defense. At the same time, the armor's weight reached 5 tons. It had no effect on me, but if it landed on an enemy, it would be like a crushing mountain. Entering the living room, my 3 roommates heard the noise and looked a bit surprised. A man stepped forward and said, "Hello, I'm the runner-up of Qingyuan Province, Feng Ye. Getting the provincial top scorer with an ordinary class? That's a very impressive achievement. Wasn't it just because he got lucky and obtained an overpowering summon?" The cold-looking man said with a hint of disdain. He was the runner-up of Longjie Province, with a college entrance exam score of 23,000. He just happened to be in a province without top geniuses to get first place. In his eyes, it was exactly a case of when there are no tigers in the mountain, the monkey becomes king. Feng Yi smiled faintly. In my opinion, being able to make a powerful summon respond is enough to show that Chen Lin is special. Seeing that an argument was about to break out, right at that moment, a voice echoed throughout the entire academy. "All new students, grab your weapons and equipment and gather at Skylark Square immediately. The freshman tournament must be starting half a month early," Cao Yang, who was sitting on the sofa, said. "Also, there are more and more mutated beasts outside the city. The academy probably plans to let us take on the task of clearing them." Hearing these words, I fell silent. I suddenly thought of the world in the Reincarnation dungeon. I didn't expect the blue planet to face the same crisis so soon. As I was thinking silently, the cold man's arrogant voice suddenly sounded in my ear. "Starting early is just fine. Chen Lin, I will crush you in the rankings and prove that I deserve the top scorer title more than you." Looking at his arrogant demeanor, I smiled. "Then let's see who's better." but I'll definitely be the one to suppress everyone else. At Skylark Square, the new students gathered one by one. The academy heads sighed. The top 100 rankers will be forced to go outside the city to clear mutated beasts, growing quickly under the pressure of death. The secretary behind him nodded, holding a tablet and announcing, "The freshman tournament scheduled in half a month will now begin. You will enter the level 2030 large-scale dungeon, Rift Canyon. This freshman tournament will determine your future resource allocation." After the announcement, the dungeon gates slowly opened. An intimidating aura leaked out and swept across the square. Some people's legs went weak, their lips trembling slightly. "Are you kidding me? I haven't even reached my first tier yet. How are we supposed to fight?" Luo Xuan was anxiously looking for something in the crowd. Soon, he spotted the carry he had been longing for. Brother Lin. I saw the tall Luo Xuan leading a short-haired, gray-eyed girl jogging over. Previously, he said he would enroll in Skylark just like me. I thought it was a joke. I didn't expect him to be serious. "This is my sister, Luo Ning." My expression turned a bit strange. "Hello." Luo Ning timidly hid behind her brother, her voice barely audible. I sighed helplessly and sent them a party invitation. Seeing me team up with others, adding extra burden to myself, the cold man frowned slightly. Before entering the dungeon, he said coldly, "Don't lose too miserably, Chen Lin." I didn't reply. The three of us instantly disappeared from where we stood. Soon, all the students had entered the dungeon. A mentor waved his hand to cast a water screen projection spell. Rift Canyon spanned hundreds of kilometers, resembling a massive maze. Just as the three of us entered, roars immediately echoed from ahead, perfect timing to test my current strength. With a slight shift of my mind, the silver butterfly instantly appeared, accompanied by white light. In just a few steps, my entire body was covered in silver armor. Clenching my right hand, the Heavenly Authority sword staff instantly materialized. Then I drew the silver battle knife from my back. Stepping hard on the ground, my figure instantly appeared dozens of meters away, right in front of the monsters. A skill originally meant for saving one's life was used by me to close the distance. The Heavenly Sword slashed out instantly, like cutting through tofu, smoothly slicing through the bodies of several monsters. Without slowing down, I turned into a blur and pierced through their ranks in the blink of an eye. Almost before any monster could react, they fell down with stunned expressions. Seeing this scene, Luo Xuan shouted excitedly, "Brother Lin is awesome, doing absolutely nothing, yet experience points were skyrocketing. This is the joy of being carried by an expert." The mentors watching this outside were shocked. This speed and damage, it almost rivals melee-type hidden classes. His base stats are completely abnormal. Even if Chen Lin advanced his class at the second tier, he couldn't possibly have such melee combat strength. At this moment, a mentor recalled carefully and said, "Could that silver butterfly be Chen Lin's second summon? A summon that can turn into a weapon?" Unheard of. Even the highly experienced academy head was a bit surprised. Looking at Jifei, who was smirking proudly, he shook his head. Currently, more than 10 people have higher points than Chen Lin. Teaming up yields very few points. If this is all he has, his title as top scorer will be unearned. He is your future son-in-law after all. What good does it do you if he loses face? Just as Jifei was about to say something, she got slapped on the back of her head. The academy head's face darkened with exasperation. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, the silver armor on my body was already covered in blood. I could instantly kill these level 20 monsters with a single strike. It seems my strength has reached the peak of the second tier. Even against a third-tier opponent, if I can't win, I can at least retreat safely. Just then, countless negative emotions constantly flooded my mind, trying to control me to end my own life. Seeing me completely still, Luo Xuan hurriedly said, "Xiao Ning, quickly retract your domain." Knowing full well how bizarre her talent was, Luo Ning looked panicked and quickly retracted it. I smiled and comforted her. "It's okay, these things can't affect me at all." Glancing at the tracker, I had only gained 120 points. This speed was obviously a bit too slow. In order to become stronger quickly, I had to take first place to obtain the Academy's resource allocation. Whether it was the Silver Butterfly or He Ming, both needed massive amounts of resources. Thinking of this, I shifted my mind slightly. Instantly, a massive, brutal magic wolf appeared from the white light. A terrifying wolf howl echoed through the canyon. This immediately made Luo Ning, who saw He Ming for the first time, shrink back in fear and hide behind me. I gave a command to He Ming. "Go, He Ming. Devour all the magic beasts in the canyon." Hearing the command, He Ming's eyes turned fierce. It vanished from its spot instantly, rushing towards the depths of the canyon. Not long after, the tracker on my wrist continuously beeped with the sound of points increasing. I headed down another path, preparing to farm points from both ends. In the distance, a young girl wielded a dark red lightning dragon, crashing it down upon countless monsters below. The ground shattered within a 100-meter radius the moment it was struck. Dark red lightning exploded and rampaged, annihilating all the monsters. The girl still looked unsatisfied. "These trashes are too weak." Seeing her sister acting crazy again, Lolan looked helpless. Suddenly, a heart-palpitating aura accompanied by intense heat swept over. Before she could even react, she saw Luo Hongying's fiery eyes erupting with fighting spirit. Berserk dark red lightning instantly surged, wrapping around her black spear. Watching the giant black flame wolf charge at her, just meeting its slit pupils made fear spread within her. But very quickly, Luo Hongying's stunning face revealed a look of madness as she immediately charged at the giant wolf. Seeing her sister charge forward fearlessly, Lolan skillfully and swiftly cast several power buffs and protective shields. With these buffs, her combat power instantly doubled. Even against a 3/3 tier boss, she could put up a fight. When the two sides collided, the immense power instantly kicked up a shockwave that swept in all directions. Seeing the giant black wolf glowing with golden light and completely unharmed, Luo Hongying's face froze. This strike had reached the power of the 3/3 tier. How could it be completely fine? Heiming coldly looked down at this human who attacked it for no reason, and instantly swiped its sharp claws. Under the terrifying power, the 3 protective shields shattered layer by layer. Luo Hongying was instantly sent flying backward. Luo Lan's expression changed drastically. Clasping her hands together, a holy phantom tens of meters tall slowly manifested. Here, 6th Saint Guardian Angel, descend. SS rank talent, Angel's Favor. A golden light barrier instantly rose, enveloping the two of them. Luo Lan immediately shouted, "Sister, fall back." Before she could finish, Heiming, approaching step by step, had already raised its claws. Black light emerged, instantly tearing the golden barrier to shreds. It gave the two a cold glance, then walked right past them, completely ignoring them. Meanwhile, it was dead silent outside. All the instructors, including the headmaster, were utterly speechless. Is this really the strength the summoner who just awakened a few days ago should have? Utterly terrifying. This power completely exceeds the realm of the 2TR. Seeing this logic-defying combat power, a few words couldn't help but surface in everyone's minds. Invincible among peers. Looking at the smug Jifei, Zhang Wuyue was shocked to the core. This practically non-existent probability was actually successfully gambled by her. Is he really a genius? Over the next 10 hours, Heiming slaughtered tens of thousands of monsters, and even killed 3 bosses. Only 1,300 points left until the next evolution. This was just half a day's harvest. But it gets harder to progress later on. Luo Xuan and Luo Ning looked incredibly excited. It was their first time experiencing such easy leveling, without exerting any effort at all. I smiled and checked the recorder. My score had already reached 34,000. Not far away, Heiming returned after slaughtering a full circle. I casually cast a recovery spell on it. Soon, the dungeon time limit was up. Enveloped by white light, we were teleported back to Skylark Square. Countless gazes of awe instantly turned our way. Many surrounding students looked battered and exhausted, especially the aloof young man, who punched the ground with a look of humiliation. Despite going all out, he was severely injured by a casual swipe from a giant black wolf. At this moment, the headmaster's secretary shouted, "I will now announce the student leaderboard. First place, Chen Lin, 34,500 points." Hearing this, the aloof young man's eyes widened instantly. He immediately looked at the holographic screen. He saw my score ranked first, leading by a massive margin. Below that was a cliff-like drop. Second place, Feng Ye, had only 13,000 points. This is absolutely impossible. The aloof young man was in disbelief, thinking there was an error with the leaderboard. Not just him, many others also found it bizarre. How could everyone else, including the 2 top scorers, have such low scores? Seeming to notice everyone's confusion, the secretary explained, "The giant black wolf you all encountered is Chen Lin's summoned beast. Because many of you tried to stop it, you were heavily injured by its single strike." Hearing this, everyone's eyes instantly filled with absolute shock. On the platform, the headmaster's secretary continued, "The freshman competition concludes here. Credit rewards will be transferred to your student IDs. You are dismissed." Returning to the detached villa dorm, seeing me push the door open, the aloof young man looked a bit unnatural. After hesitating for a moment, he took a deep breath and said, "Something arrived for you just now. They said it's the second batch of material resources. Since you weren't here, I moved it into your room." I was slightly taken aback, then smiled and said, "All right, thank you." The aloof young man turned his face away and whispered, "You're welcome." After returning to my room, I opened the large black box. The amount of rare metal this time was even greater than the first batch. As long as the silver disc fuses with enough metal, its hardness will be impenetrable even for Heiming. There's also a chance to acquire various traits. By then, it won't just be invincible in defense, its combat power will also be terrifying. I don't plan on just being a defenseless summoner. That weakness is too obvious. Once targeted, many methods could easily kill me. Over 10 minutes later, all the metals were fused by the silver disc. Now, its hardness could not be pierced even by a 3/3 tier attack. Moreover, its weight reached a full 13 tons. With mutual power amplification, a single punch could shatter the ground. Just then, the 5 credits rewarded for placing first also arrived. After thinking for a moment, I spent all my points on dozens of fruit resources. Once they were delivered, I poured everything out at once, then summoned Heiming and fed them to it. Soon, I felt surges of heat strengthening my whole body. It felt incredibly refreshing. Heiming's size was also growing bit by bit. In just a few minutes, it reached 40 meters. And after I advanced to Summoning Swordmaster, every level up gave me an extra 5 points in strength. I've completely twisted the Summoner class from a squishy backliner who only levels Spirit into an offensive frontline class. The next day, today was the official start of school. All 4 of us in the dorm were assigned to Class 1. On the way, we ran into Luo Xuan and Luo Ning, who were also in Class 1. As soon as we entered the classroom, many people looked over. Even now, they were still a bit shocked. Relying on just one summon to crush everyone was something that had never happened before. At this moment, 2 incredibly beautiful twins walked in through the door. After looking around for a moment, Luo Hongying and Luo Lan sat directly in front of me. At the same time, the tall Jifei walked into the classroom, glancing at everyone and saying, "My name is Jifei, and I will be your homeroom teacher from now on. Of course, try not to bother me if you have issues. I'm too lazy to care." Then Jifei's expression turned serious and her tone became strict. "You are all geniuses from various provinces. You worked hard to get into this academy, presumably for better resources. But unfortunately, through decades of scheming, the alien race's advantage has grown larger and larger. Before long, they will break through our defenses in one fell swoop." Hearing this, everyone's eyes instantly filled with disbelief. Society is clearly running in perfect order right now. Various entertainment industries are even booming. The media claims the situation has improved. There is no negative news online whatsoever. Everything seems stable and peaceful. Yet now she's saying a catastrophe is imminent? Seeing their shock and confusion, Jifei said slowly, "Aren't you guys curious why you practically never see powerhouses above the 5th tier in society? Even within the military garrisoning the whole province, the strongest is only at the 4th tier." Hearing this, the crowd thought carefully and realized it was indeed true. Logically speaking, mid-tier combatants like those at the 5th tier, while not everywhere, shouldn't be so hard to find online and in daily life. Suddenly, a terrifying thought faintly formed in their minds. The students graduating from top academies are at least at the 4th tier. Most of them have marched to the front lines without hesitation. It is exactly because of this that the peace in the rear has been maintained. Jifei continued, "News like this that would cause panic is naturally banned by all countries. This leads to many commoners being completely unaware of this. What's more urgent now is that the mutant beasts are also growing in scale. If we don't stop them now, the alien races will inevitably notice the situation and launch an all-out offensive early." Therefore, Jifei glanced at all the students. "The time has come for us to step up. All academies are sending their top talents to military bases to cull the mutant beasts. Now, those who volunteer to go to the military base for the mutant beast culling operation, stand up." As her voice fell, the sound of chairs being pushed back instantly echoed in the classroom. I naturally didn't hesitate at all. Seeing this, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning also immediately stood up. Fighting mutant beasts was just a matter of time anyway. Now, it's just been brought forward. Gradually, only half the class was still sitting. Seeing this, Jifei's lips curled up. "Having half of you volunteer already exceeds my expectations. Everyone, move out. We are heading to the military base." A seated fat guy widened his eyes. "Wait, do we have to go too?" "That's right. Everyone in this class is in the top 100 freshmen. You're all considered top talents of the academy, so naturally, you must go. The reason I only said it now is because the military intends to pick out the volunteers and make them key observation targets." Jifei said expressionlessly, "If you truly cannot muster the courage, there is a second option. Withdraw from Skylark Academy." The 20-something people still hesitating immediately had half of them jump to their feet. Jifei led the crowd outside Skylark Academy. Dozens of heavy troop transport trucks were parked at the gate. Soldiers waited with serious expressions on their faces. As all the students boarded the heavy transports, the originally bustling Skylark Academy became incredibly empty. Inside the carriage of a heavy transport, Jifei picked up a document and said, "This time, the place we are going to is the Hongduan military base, located 900 kilometers away from Zhongtian City. Right in front of it is the Balian mountain range. Its area spans hundreds of thousands of square kilometers. According to Tianqi's detection, just in the outer periphery alone, there are tens of thousands of level 10 to 30 mutated beasts. If you go a bit deeper, level 40 to 50 mutated beasts are also innumerable. You guys only need to carry out the clearing operation on the outskirts." For a long time, the front line has relied on technology to fight outnumbered, barely managing to resist the attacks. However, for some unknown reason, their recent attacks have become much fiercer, raiding the defense lines from all directions, day and night. Therefore, regarding this mutated beast clearing operation, the front line is completely powerless to help. 8 or 9 hours later, the heavy troop transport trucks came to a halt. As the heavy steel doors opened to the sides, several squads of soldiers in black combat uniforms lined up. It seemed they were waiting for their arrival. The soldiers saluted collectively. The sight touched everyone's hearts, and they couldn't help but put away their lazy attitudes. Jifei walked over and said, "Everyone, follow me to the mission reception point." Along the way, everyone looked around. The entire military base was very spacious, with turrets erected all around, heavily fortified. Not long after, they arrived at the mission reception point. Waiting female soldiers distributed black smart wristbands to everyone. These wristbands looked similar to the recorders from the exams, but they had added mission and map functions. There was also an SOS icon. With just one click, the military base would instantly be alerted and dispatch personnel to rescue you. At the same time, people nearby would receive the message immediately, allowing them to rush over right away. "Welcome. Xiao Ai is happy to serve you. For this mutated beast clearing operation, each student must accept and complete at least one mission per day. You have not yet met today's target. Please go to the reception point to accept a mission as soon as possible." The smart wristband emitted a prompt tone. I strode over to the screen displaying countless missions and glanced over it. It's better to play it safe. I'd better take a few normal missions with tier 3 requirements. Suddenly, I felt eyes staring at me, and I immediately looked back. I saw Luo Xuan and Luo Ning, who had been following me all along, looking at me pitifully. With their strength, going into the wilderness would probably be a huge struggle. "Let's go together," I smiled. After all, I had to take responsibility to the end. The two nodded repeatedly, gratitude almost overflowing from their eyes. Seeing this scene, Feng Ye, who originally wanted to invite Luo Ning, stopped in his tracks, suddenly feeling bitter. The twins are one thing, but he won't even spare Luo Ning. "Zhongfeng, the wilderness is extremely dangerous. Accidents can happen at any time. How about we look out for each other?" Feng Ye turned his head uncomfortably, acting like he was doing it for Li Zhongfeng's sake. "Piss off. Go find someone else." Li Zhongfeng looked at him with disgust, picked a mission, and left with a female support from his class. "Cao Yang, we're not done talking." Cao Yang interrupted him directly. "You're at least a hidden combat class. Don't be such a coward. Go find some reliable people to team up with yourself. Worst case scenario, just press SOS. If we're nearby, we'll come collect your corpse." Feng Ye suddenly felt the world around him was full of malice. Not long after, I also picked out 3 missions. Clear out the berserk black apes, 200 kilometers away, double-toothed giant tigers, and blood-scaled giant crocodiles. The locations of all the mutated beasts were obtained by array masters who modified and inscribed the Eye of Observation onto microdrones for carpet searches. Mutated beasts are territorial, so they generally don't wander too far from home. For this clearing operation, every military base had made ample preparations, allowing the students to more easily and steadily hunt down the beasts. Of course, their safety was also taken into consideration. Everyone going out on a mission could receive 3 high-explosive grenades and a high-power pistol equipped with 7 armor-piercing rounds. These were enough to injure mutated beasts around level 20. I had absolutely no confidence in my marksmanship, so I simply took 3 high-explosive grenades. Besides, the power of my punch now was even fiercer than an armor-piercing round. I turned around and left with the 2 of them. Soon, we drove into the Balian mountain range. I directly summoned the silver disc and transformed it into combat armor. At this moment, the smart wristband emitted a voice. "Do you need Xiaowai to turn on the flashlight?" I immediately said, "Yes." The next second, a bright light illuminated the surrounding dozen meters. In the command center, everyone had a solemn expression. Through a nearby microdrone, they immediately noticed something wrong with our route. Further ahead is the area for mutated beasts above level 30. Why aren't they stopping? Quickly check what missions they actually accepted. A middle-aged man in a major general's uniform said in a deep voice. The woman controlling the screen quickly operated the console and said with a shocked tone, "Kill the level 33 berserk black apes, level 36 double-toothed giant tigers, and level 39 blood-scaled giant crocodiles. These are all missions requiring tier 3 strength. The last one is even close to tier 4 difficulty. Are they crazy?" Yang Xiao rubbed his temples. Is this Skylark Academy's most formidable freshman this year? He's only level 16. How dare he accept missions 2 full tiers above his own strength? This is practically suicide. But for geniuses like them, who know the dangers yet still step up immediately, they fundamentally wouldn't betray humanity. Even if they are a bit stubborn, we can't just ignore them. He immediately issued an order, telling 4 armed helicopters to move closer to the vicinity. Once they are in danger, initiate rescue operations immediately. Yang Xiao let out a long sigh. Compared to other bases, their Hengduan base would probably be dragging the team down. Suddenly, the smart wristband issued a warning. Please note, you have entered the habitat range of the target, berserk black apes. In the very next second after this voice sounded, a giant snake suddenly smashed through the bushes and charged at us. Its body was a full 4 meters thick, and its length reached tens of meters. It opened its sharp fangs and lunged at me viciously. The terrifying bloody moth threatened to swallow me whole. I spun around instantly, grabbed the giant snake's fangs with both hands, and pushed forcefully. Bolstered by superhuman strength and 13 tons of weight, the giant snake's fangs instantly snapped. Blood spurted out, making it retract its head in pain. But I didn't give it any time to breathe at all. The ground beneath my feet caved in, and my figure instantly dashed in front of the giant snake. With one punch, its spine was directly shattered and snapped. The giant snake hissed miserably, its cold serpentine eyes revealing fear, and it immediately wanted to flee. I grabbed it backhandedly and slowly dragged it back. The giant snake struggled frantically in terror, causing the ground to tremble continuously. However, it was completely futile. My fist smashed directly into its head. The giant snake's flesh exploded, and its skull caved in and shattered. I grabbed the giant snake's lower jaw with both hands, and directly tore it in half with force. This brutal scene made Luo Xuan and Luo Ning tremble in fear. On the other side, the command center, which clearly watched the process, fell into silence. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock. This is too insane. He's only level 16 himself, right? Yet he can face a level 29 giant fierce python, head on. What kind of monster is this? Yang Xiao silently lowered his head, repeatedly looking at the documents in his hand. Here, it clearly shows his class is a summoner. It's not a mistake. Suddenly, a roar rang through the screen, echoing across the room. Everyone's expression suddenly turned grave. They saw a massive, 50-meter-tall ape with bulging muscles leap down from the mountainside. Seemingly awakened by the sounds of battle, it charged toward them in a blind rage. The female officer looked horrified. This is bad. It's a berserk black ape. How did it reach level 34? Mutated beasts undergo a metamorphosis every 10 levels. It could also smash the giant python to death with just a few punches. Yang Xiao shook his head, feeling equally pessimistic. In the entire human race, few could overcome such a massive gap in combat power. He already had his hand on the walkie-talkie. If the situation took a turn for the worse, he would immediately call in 4-armed helicopters for backup. Before I even had time to collect my loot, a massive, bloodthirsty, and hideous dark silhouette pounced from above. The black ape clasped its hands into a giant fist and smashed it down. I was utterly fearless. I drew the battle blade from my back and slashed, hitting right against its incredibly tough, leathery giant fist. A shockwave rippled outward, but I remained completely unscathed. All the damage was blocked by the silver disc. The black ape roared once more. Its body suddenly expanded several times over, rapidly reaching a height of 70 meters. Then, just like swatting a fly, it brought its massive palm crashing down. But in an instant, I appeared right above its head. As I slashed down, my close-range skill activated. This skill, originally meant for survival, was now being used as a gap closer. The terrifying slash flashed like silver light, striking the back of the ape's head, yet it only left a wound half a meter deep. Roaring in pain, the black ape quickly turned its colossal body around and wildly swatted its hands in a frenzy. But I dodged every single strike. I then dashed right in front of it, landing multiple slashes on the exact same spot. The black ape raised its foot and stomped down hard. Instantly, the earth shook and the mountains trembled, kicking up a massive cloud of dust in all directions. But I had already appeared a dozen meters away. It seemed that 13 tons of force and sharpness still wasn't enough to severely injure the ape. I had reached my limit with this approach. Realizing this, I decided not to drag it out any longer. Instantly, an ethereal sword appeared in my hand. Its blade was engraved with countless incomprehensible white runes, looking mysterious and profound. Feeling my mental energy instantly drained, my head grew heavy. "This is your first public appearance. Let me see your true power." With that, I slowly raised my hand. The black ape's hair stood on end. It felt a sudden shudder run through its brain, as if threatened by something invisible. Was it this ant's doing? The black ape immediately lunged forward, wanting to end the battle quickly. However, my hand had already swung down. The magic sword instantly slashed through the ape's body. Without the slightest warning, its massive body crashed to the ground. A gust of wind immediately blew away the scattered dust. Its physical body was still alive, but its spirit had crumbled and died. I had instantly one-shot it. I withdrew my battle sword. Fortunately, the berserk black ape's fierce presence kept other mutated beasts from approaching, and the battle had ended very quickly. Seeing this, the armed backup helicopters in the distance slowly turned around and flew away. The entire command center fell dead silent. Everyone stared blankly at the screen, not even understanding what had just happened. Yang Xiao pondered for a moment and immediately realized it must be a mental trauma skill. Such skills were incredibly rare, but what truly shocked him was my terrifying combat power. To actually overcome an 18-level gap and clash head-on with the berserk black ape completely unscathed. The key point was that this wasn't some burst technique, it seemed to be my normal combat state. That was the most terrifying part. Those freaks who could defeat enemies a whole major tier higher invariably relied on burst damage or ultimate moves, not a constant state. Although both could bridge massive gaps in combat power, the difference was astronomical. If he could maintain this state constantly and fight across two major tiers, he would absolutely become the alien race's nightmare on the front lines. Thinking of this, Yang Xiao's heart raced. He was overcome with joy. Yang Xiao strode out of the command center, entered an inconspicuous little room, and closed the door. He activated multiple concealment arrays, and carefully took out a communicator. "Brother Zhang, we've discovered a monstrous prodigy at the Hengduan military base. He's too fierce. Since I'm heavily injured right now, I'm afraid I can't protect him." After waiting for about half an hour, a voice came from the other side. "Explain clearly. Exactly how strong is he?" Yang Xiao thought for a moment. "At the same level, even if we teamed up, he'd still smash our heads into the ground." The other side fell silent for a moment. "That's insane. I guess even the entire human race won't be able to protect him. Just wait for him to be assassinated by the alien races." Yang Xiao felt somewhat helpless. He can crush me with one hand, but against you, Brother Zhang, it's hard to say. Hearing this, the voice immediately replied, "All right, I'll go discuss this with the other thrones right now." Meanwhile, Luo Xuan looked at the ape's massive corpse and shouted excitedly, "You can match a level 34 mutated beast without even needing He Ming. Brother Lin, you're way too strong." I just smiled without saying a word. With a thought, I summoned the 40-meter-tall He Ming and had it devour the two mutated beast corpses. Soon, its evolution value increased by 0.2 points, which was still a long way from the goal of over 1,200. After thinking for a moment, I took the few life crystals I dug out from previous kills and tossed them all into the pitch-black flames. On average, each life crystal provided at least 1 point. My eyes lit up. If this works, I finally have a way to quickly increase the evolution value. Afterwards, I led the two of them deeper. Half an hour later, a 30-meter-long giant tiger with sharp fangs rushed out. But before it could attack, He Ming glared with its slit pupils, and the tiger froze stiff under the deterrence. Suddenly, the ground shattered, and He Ming instantly appeared in front of the giant tiger. Thrusting out its sharp claws, it launched a terrifying swipe that sent the tiger flying. Driven by the powerful impact, the giant tiger crashed through several towering trees. 4 hideous gashes appeared on its face, pouring out copious amounts of blood. But before it could recover from the excruciating pain, He Ming was already standing in front of it again. "Run!" The single thought instantly filled the tiger's brain, but its speed was absolutely no match for He Ming's. In just over 10 seconds, the giant tiger was completely consumed by the pitch-black flames. This brutal scene left even the command center feeling afraid. Those slit pupils made their blood run cold, even through the screen, making them feel like death was imminent. Yang Xiao smiled bitterly, feeling a profound sense that the new generation was replacing the old. After our group of 3-in-1 beasts traversed the mountains for an hour, we entered a zone exclusively populated by level 30+ mutated beasts. But with He Ming's intimidation, not a single beast dared to approach. Just then, a colossal crocodile, over 100 meters long and covered in blood-red scales, suddenly opened its crimson-slit eyes. A terrifying, brutal aura erupted from it, issuing a warning to the intruders of its territory. He Ming instantly bared its fangs. A terrifyingly tyrannical aura exploded from its body, projecting a presence even more horrifying than the crocodile's. In the next second, its size expanded rapidly, its length approaching a staggering 300 meters. Feeling intangibly suppressed, the giant crocodile charged in anger, each step making the ground tremble. Pitch-black flames surged across He Ming's body. As it extended its claws, a dark light emerged. Simultaneously, a golden glow slowly rose from its skin and fur, radiating an aura of absolute invincibility. The giant crocodile opened its massive jaws, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. However, upon biting into the golden light, it couldn't close its mouth. He Ming just stared at it coldly with its slit pupils, then raised its claws and slashed down viciously. Instantly, countless blood-red scales were torn apart, turning its flesh and blood into a mangled mess. At the same time, the giant crocodile roared fiercely. It whipped its thick, heavy tail, swirling with a terrifying bloody aura, and lashed it toward He Ming with a violent gale. The ground was gouged into 4 long, deep trenches as He Ming barely managed to halt its momentum with full force. The giant crocodile followed up immediately, pushing off with its front limbs to bite He Ming, dragging it down into the lake behind them. Instantly, massive splashes of water soared into the air. The 2 behemoths fought wildly at the bottom of the lake, churning the water into a muddy mess. The pitch-black flames covering He Ming did not diminish in the slightest. Instead, the surrounding lake water's temperature kept rising. Even with the environmental advantage, the giant crocodile was still completely suppressed. Despite using its strength talent, making the bloody light swirl wildly, it still couldn't deal a single drop of damage. In just a few minutes, the water level of the massive lake had dropped by nearly half. Suddenly, the water surface exploded as a giant black wolf burst out of the lake. Its massive body, nearly 300 meters long, was overwhelmingly oppressive. Coupled with the fierce aura swirling around it, it made people tremble involuntarily. Even though He Ming wouldn't attack them, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning couldn't suppress their inner fear, and neither could the command center watching through the screen. As for the giant crocodile, it had been swallowed whole, leaving nothing behind. At this moment, Zhao Ai on my wrist announced, "All tasks completed, you may return to the military base's reception point to submit them." By the time the 3 of us returned to the Hengduan base, it was already 1 a.m. I walked straight into the reception point and found a female soldier to turn in the quest. The female soldier asked in disbelief, "Did you guys really complete it?" I nodded and pulled up Zhao Ai's recording as proof. After a good while, the female soldier finally processed it, saying, "That's 200 contribution points in total. Since you acted as a team, how do you want to distribute them?" I transferred the points to the 2 of them according to the ratio she suggested. I glanced at Luo Xuan and Luo Ning. Not only are they of no help following me around right now, but they also can't properly temper themselves. It seems it's time to find a more suitable party for them. Shortly after I left, a line of text prominently appeared on the big screen at the reception point. Skylark Academy, freshman, level 16 summoner, contribution points, 100, ranking 1245. It wasn't just at Hengduan base. Other bases gathering numerous academies also displayed these large words simultaneously. At this moment, many students hanging around the reception points showed surprise. Who is this guy? Getting 100 contribution points right off the bat? He must have completed at least 2 tier 3 quests in one go, right? I'm a freshman too, but my contribution points are only in the single digits right now. Who isn't? I only dare to do tier 1 quests. These mutated beasts are too ferocious. Even with a level advantage, I still get suppressed. Right now, most sophomores and juniors only have a few dozen contribution points. Freshmen with double-digit points are even rarer. The reason everyone was so shocked was that he was only level 16, just a freshman, yet he skipped 2 major tiers to successfully kill 2 mutated beasts above level 30. Inside the Luoxiang base, Feng Yi was discussing how to kill the level 60 behemoth on the perimeter. Suddenly seeing the name appear on the leaderboard, he froze slightly. How is that possible? Hearing Feng Yi's exclamation, several instructors followed his gaze. Old Feng, do you know this student? A freshman getting over 100 points on the first day? Isn't that a bit exaggerated? Feng Yi nodded and said, "He's the recruiting regret I told you guys about before. Back then, Jifei just offered way too much. Otherwise, he might have been a student of our Beilong Academy." Hearing this, the instructors realized, so it's the top scorer from Dongtian. However, someone soon shook their head and said, he must be in a party carried by powerful senior students. Otherwise, on his own, there's no way he could earn over 100 points in one run. True, but this kind of behavior is ill-advised. Aside from preventing the mutated beasts from riding, this clearing operation also serves the purpose of tempering oneself. Yeah, the times are urgent. One should prioritize improving their strength. Intentionally boosting your ranking is useless. The instructors shook their heads repeatedly. Feng Yi also let out a long sigh. Originally, he had high hopes for me, but now he was somewhat disappointed. At this moment, he looked at a young man in black nearby and smiled. Yongshu, finished your quest? Hearing the voice, Xiao Yunshu walked over. Yes, Instructor Feng. I killed 2 level 27 mutated beasts. I could have returned much earlier, but I ran into a level 33 heavy armored lizard on the way. It took a lot of effort to kill it. Xiao Yunshu's voice was flat, as if it were a trivial matter. Feng Yi's mouth twitched, genuinely amazed. Impressive. Slaying a level 33 beast at level 17. There really is an endless stream of geniuses in your batch. The corners of Xiao Yunshu's mouth curled up slightly, his face brimming with extreme confidence. Instructor, rest assured. It's true this is a golden age of prodigies, but I am invincible. I will crush all rivals and ascend to the throne of humanity. Xiao Yunshu peeked secretly, only to find the instructors covering their faces in silence. Suddenly, he saw the name on the big screen, and his expression instantly froze. A million doubts surged in his heart. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How can anyone be fiercer than me? 100 contribution points? Even counting the heavy armored lizard I killed, I still can't compare. Seeing Xiao Yunshu questioning his life, Feng Yi said somewhat helplessly, "This is likely the result of being carried by seniors, so don't mind it." Xiao Yunshu immediately breathed a sigh of relief, but the joy of completing a tier 2 quest was completely wiped out. Hurriedly bidding farewell to Feng Yi, he then resolutely marched toward the mountain range now shrouded in darkness. Meanwhile, I returned to my dorm, had some barbecue with my roommates, and entrusted Luo Xuan and Luo Ning to their party. At 9 a.m. the next day, I arrived at the reception point and picked 2 hard-level quests requiring tier 4 strength. Just after I entered the mountain range, the female officer immediately shouted to Yang Xiao. This time he took hard-level quests that required tier 4 strength. Hearing this, Yang Xiao took a sharp breath. Not satisfied with skipping 2 major tiers, this kid wants to skip 3 major tiers. Tier 4 corresponds to mutated beasts above level 40. That's a major turning point. Even if an attack helicopter emptied all its ammo, it wouldn't even scratch a level 40 beast. Notify the instructors from Skylark Academy. Have one of them go and follow him. I'm worried Chen Lin might be in danger. Yes, sir. The female officer immediately got to work. Soon, this message was sent via smart wristbands to the 3 Skylark instructors stationed at Hengduan Base. Upon receiving it, they immediately had a quick discussion, ultimately deciding to let Zheng Wuyue go. As long as Chen Lin pressed the SOS button, he would get support immediately. Meanwhile, amidst countless giant trees and vines, a giant black wolf darted through at top speed. In about an hour, we reached the quest target's location. At this moment, the massive level 44 3-headed snake was hissing a warning. I silently reached out my hand. A mysterious, transparent sword over a meter long materialized. As I slowly raised my hand and swung it down, the 3-headed snake's eyes instantly shrank. In the unseen realm, it felt the aura of death. The next second, the left head suddenly let out a shrill shriek, then slumped weakly onto the rock. Seeing this, the other 2 heads hurriedly nudged it a few times. Realizing it was lifeless, they were instantly filled with extreme terror. Then, I ordered He Ming to go up and bite it. Receiving the order, He Ming roared instantly. Its body violently expanded to nearly 300 meters, as pitch-black flames erupted all over it. Feeling this terrifying and fierce aura, the 3-headed snake abruptly opened its massive jaws and spewed purple venom. He Ming tanked the attack head-on, baring its fangs and biting straight into the middle head. It dragged the snake to the ground, rolling violently. Seeing its companion being frantically torn apart, the remaining head roared and bared its fangs. It savagely shattered the golden barrier and bit deep into He Ming's flesh. Instantly, toxins flowed with the blood into its internal organs, but its gigantified physique allowed He Ming to endure the venom's corrosion. Black light gleamed on its claws as it slapped away the snake head biting it. At this very moment, I drew the sky sword. My figure instantly vanished, suddenly appearing right before the 3-headed snake's eyes. I ruthlessly drove the sky sword into its eye. In agonizing pain, the snake head let out a tragic hiss. Simultaneously, a claw wreathed in pitch-black flames swiped down instantly, slamming it brutally into the ground. But its tail, over 30 meters thick, whipped over with howling winds. I immediately raised my blade to block it. My body crashed into the ground like a missile. Seeing this, He Ming became utterly enraged. Its claw, cloaked in black light, blasted through the air and tore down ferociously. The snake's tough scales were as fragile as paper at this moment, torn open into a hideous wound several meters deep. Then, He Ming whipped its head around instantly, biting tightly onto the neck of the other head and frantically ripping at it, as if trying to snap it right off. The 200-meter-plus behemoths wrestled together. Countless clods of dirt exploded, and giant trees collapsed. I stood up from the dust and smoke, completely unscathed. Silver Butterfly's defense is as reliable as ever. Watching the 2 giant beasts fight more and more crazily, I sat down on a rock nearby. All that was left was to wait for He Ming to wear it down. At this moment, not far away, a tall woman in white armor was silently approaching. I quickly grabbed my battle blade and instantly slashed out with a flash of silver light. But my expression quickly turned to surprise. Mentor? Zheng Wuyue nodded. She was slightly shocked, feeling the weight behind the blade. Even as a level 59 professional, she had to exert some effort to block it. Mentor, why are you here? Faced with my question, Zhang Wuyue quietly withdrew her slightly trembling fingers and replied calmly, just passing by. I heard a loud commotion over here, so I came to take a look. Right at that moment, a 30-meter-long snakehead suddenly smashed down from the sky. With a loud boom, dust and smoke billowed across the ground. A ferocious roar echoed for thousands of meters. He Ming stood tall atop the 3-headed snake's corpse. Its pitch-black flames greedily devoured it, converting it into energy and evolution points. Its massive body, exceeding 300 meters, looked like a true apocalyptic behemoth. Zhang Wuyue watched in awe. Even from such a distance, that tyrannical aura, seemingly capable of devouring all life, still sent chills down her spine. Meanwhile, the command center was in an uproar, crossing 3 major tiers and a full 28-level difference. He actually did it. My god, how is his combat power this exaggerated? I feel like he's even stronger than that monster who awakened an SSS rank talent. Even Yang Xiao was visibly thrilled. Countless pitch-black fire snakes drifted through the air and merged into He Ming's body as its size rapidly shrank. It came to my side and lay down to rest. Afterward, Zhang Wuyue checked on me briefly before leaving. After opening the map to confirm my route, I mounted He Ming and set off again. Having devoured the 3-headed snake and its life crystal, He Ming had grown by a full meter, and its evolution points increased by 10. At this rate, it might only take 4 or 5 days for He Ming to evolve again. With this next evolution, He Ming's life tier will reach that of a high-level summon, and its talent will fully upgrade to A rank. By then, its combat power will undoubtedly become even more terrifying. Suddenly, a massive commotion erupted in the distance, accompanied by a deafening bellow. A wild bull came charging right at us. Its entire body was covered in thick, hard, dark yellow scales, and its 2 horns were over 30 meters long. The ground shattered completely beneath its giant hooves. The second mission target, the level 45 Raging Horn Bull. Seeing this, I didn't hesitate and immediately cast an enhancement spell. He Ming let out a roar, its size expanding rapidly. Pitch-black flames erupted alongside a brilliant golden light. In an instant, its full combat power was unleashed. Right at that moment, the Raging Horn Bull's sharp horns viciously rammed toward us. He Ming raised its front limbs, blocking the horns with both paws. Under the terrifying impact, He Ming was instantly forced backward, plowing a long, deep trench into the ground. In the blink of an eye, the two behemoths clashed across thousands of meters. The aerial drones hastily accelerated to keep up. In the command center, Yang Xiao immediately gave an order. Send out a notice. Tell all students along their path to evacuate immediately. Chen Lin's summon won't hold back to protect them during a fight. Hearing this, the female officer immediately began operating the console. Haiming extended its claws, coating them in black light, and forcefully flipped the raging horn bull over. The massive body crashed to the ground, kicking up clouds of dust. Meanwhile, a team of 2 men and 3 women, having desperately fled several hundred meters away, looked back at the scene in shock. Is this why the command center told us to evacuate? Thank goodness we left quickly. Or we'd be dead if we got caught in the crossfire. Wait, one is level 45. But why is the other one only level 16? Holy crap. You're telling me that thing is level 16? The 5 of them stared in sheer disbelief. A female instructor stationed nearby noticed the commotion and immediately prepared to rush over to intervene. However, Zhang Wuyue silently appeared and blocked her path. Leave it be. That's the summon of a freshman from my Skylark Academy. Hearing this, the female instructor froze, her eyes instantly filling with absolute shock. Are you kidding me? Seeing her reaction, the corners of Jiang Wuyue's mouth curled up imperceptibly. As she stated flatly, yeah, he's exceptionally outstanding in this year's batch. The female instructor looked dumbfounded. How is this just outstanding? This is monstrous. A freshman with tier 4 combat power. I've never even heard of such a thing. Is this the true caliber of Great Sha's top academies? The female instructor looked at her with mixed feelings. Is he your student? Jiang Wuyue's expression stiffened. She coughed dryly. Ahem. Yes, more or less. She and Jifei had been childhood friends, so Jifei's student was basically her own. The logic was perfectly sound. Hearing this, the female instructor's eyes immediately filled with envy. Half an hour later, Haiming finally finished devouring the raging horn bull. Its ferocious gaze swept the surroundings. Not seeing its master, it immediately turned around to head back. It didn't take long for it to find me, currently being chased and battered by a 50-meter-tall toad. It instantly flew into a raging fury. It dashed over in the blink of an eye, slamming down a terrifying claw strike. That instantly one-shotted the level 36 mutant beast. Seeing this, I breathed a sigh of relief. After casting a recovery spell and resting for half an hour, man and beast set off again to hunt mutant beasts above level 40. With 2 missions completed, I chose not to return to the quest hub to turn them in. The round trip would simply take too much time. I didn't mind losing out on a few contribution points. The top priority now was to let Haiming evolve as soon as possible, and then level myself up to 20 to enter the class advancement dungeon. Ever since I learned that humanity's situation was dire, I had felt an inexplicable sense of urgency. Late at night, roars echoed through the mountain range. Haiming's entire body was wreathed in a terrifying aura. With 2 level 42 mutant beasts beneath its feet, pitch-black flames devoured their corpses, constantly converting them into energy that merged into Haiming's body. I panted heavily. My mental energy had been overdrawn to its absolute limit. I couldn't even maintain a recovery spell, and my mind felt incredibly weak. My physical stamina was nearly exhausted, and my entire body ached and throbbed. Just now, I had forcibly used my own body to hold off another mutant beast for Haiming for a few minutes. I almost didn't make it, but the harvest was worth it. Over the course of the day, we had killed 15 mutant beasts above level 40. Haiming's normal size had grown to 58 meters, and all its attributes had increased by a full 58 points. They had all broken past the 300 mark. If we were to face the raging horn bull now, we could finish it off in just over 10 minutes. As for these 2 level 42 mutant beasts nearby, it had been an absolute massacre. Its evolution points also increased by 195. We were only 1,020 points away from maxing it out. Seeing me return to the Hungduan base, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The female officer swallowed hard, and couldn't help but exclaim, "This is terrifying." He killed 15 mutant beasts above level 40 in a single day. If converted, wouldn't that be over 2,000 contribution points? Hearing this, everyone wore looks of deep admiration. Right now in our Hangduan base, the student with the highest contribution points only has about 700, right? Exactly. He's also from Skylark Academy, Senior Qin Kong. He was the Dongtian Provincial top scorer 3 years ago. What about the other bases? Yang Xiao asked. The female officer typed rapidly on her keyboard and quickly replied, at the Luosheng base, where Beilong and several other academies are stationed, the highest student contribution points stand at 1,000. Following that is Yuntian Academy in the south, with 890, and Qingtian Academy in the west, with 850. For this mutant beast clearing operation, over 100 academies are participating, distributed across more than a dozen military bases. We are starting with the vastest mountain ranges that hold the largest mutant beast populations, and will subsequently sweep the surrounding areas in order. This will last for several months or even longer, until the mutant beast populations are reduced to a level where they can no longer threaten the cities. How is the gap this wide? Seeing that not only was there a huge difference between the top students, but that the Luoxiang base was also far ahead in overall clearing progress. Yan Xiao frowned. The female officer said, Beilong Academy ranks first in the evaluations every year. Naturally, the vast majority of people prefer to enroll there. This year is a golden age for prodigies, with geniuses emerging in droves. You can imagine how terrifying their internal competition is. Everyone is giving it their all, unwilling to fall behind. But this is a good thing. The faster they clear their areas, the sooner they can spare the effort to assist the other lagging bases. Except for our 5 bases managed by top-tier academies, the situation at the other 13 bases is not optimistic. The number of mutant beasts above level 20 has barely decreased. Yang Zhao nodded. Therefore, we must also hurry, and strive to support the other bases as much as possible. By the time I reached the reception point, it was already 2:30. The streets were still brightly lit. Many students were having outdoor barbecues with the mutant beasts they had towed back using armored vehicles. After handing in my quest, my ranking skyrocketed instantly, jumping from 1,245th to 10th place. I didn't pay much attention to it, and turned back toward my dorm. As soon as I opened the door, Feng Ye rushed over, looking at me like I was a monster. Tell me the truth, Chen Lin. Are you an alien in human skin? This leap in combat power is just too exaggerated. I just smiled without a word and sat down on my chair. The Academy's public forum is blowing up right now. Feng Ye sat down next to me, still in shock. Everyone mistakenly thinks a senior student carried you, and they are harshly condemning this behavior. Even if there was some leeway to believe it when you completed a Tier 3 quest earlier and instantly earned 100 contribution points, now almost everyone is questioning it. They all think it's completely fake. Haha, Senior Qin Kong has it the worst right now. He's the prime suspect, and many people are pointing their fingers at him. I asked out of curiosity, why? At that very moment, a friend request lit up on my smart wristband. It was none other than Qin Kong, the senior accused of boosting my points. I accepted it, and the instant I did, Qin Kong sent a single message: A level 52 giant rock dragon lizard tomorrow. Are you interested? Looking at the message he sent, I replied, I only need its life crystal and the corpse of the giant rock dragon lizard. You guys can take the contribution points. After agreeing on the meeting time and place, the next day I walked out to the base's main gate. Qin Kong immediately waved at me. A girl with a graceful figure standing next to him had her eyes light up as she spoke. Hello, my name is Ye Kexi. The other guy here is Wang Yao. I nodded. Soon, the four of us got into an armored vehicle and headed deep into the mountain range. On the way, Qin Kong explained, the giant rock dragon lizard possesses a trace of king tier bloodline. Its innate talents are unknown, so we need to be extra careful when fighting it. Wang Yao and I will act as the main attackers. Kexi will provide buffs and healing from a distance. Junior Chen Lin, how is your summon's combat power? I said calmly, tanking the giant rock dragon lizard won't be a problem. Hearing this, the three of them immediately lit up with hope. They thought to themselves that they had found the right guy. If my combat power was only barely at the level of a level 40 mutant beast, I would be completely useless in this battle. But seeing me so confident gave them a great sense of reassurance. After the armored vehicle traveled 200 kilometers, we all got out. Qin Kong stopped in his tracks, turned around and said, this is the territory of the giant rock dragon lizard. I'll go lure it out. Everyone, get ready to hold the line. Hearing this, I simply said, no need. With a slight shift of my thoughts, a 58-meter-tall giant black wolf descended. A tyrannical aura instantly swept across the area, and its ferocious roar echoed for thousands of meters, terrifying countless mutant beasts into fleeing in panic. The three of them looked on in astonishment. Triggered by the roar, a pair of yellow, lantern-like vertical pupils suddenly snapped open inside a rocky cave. In an instant, a terrifying presence erupted. Accompanied by a domineering roar that pierced the heavens, the giant rock dragon lizard emerged. Every step it took made the ground tremble violently. Looking at its massive body, spanning over 500 meters, completely covered in boulder-like scales, and feeling the oppressive aura it emanated, Qin Kong and the other two wore grave expressions. They realized they had still underestimated it. Yet, my face remained perfectly calm. I communicated with Heiming through my mind, and Heiming instantly expanded into a colossal beast nearly 500 meters tall. Pitch-black flames erupted, accompanied by a radiant golden light, making its presence even more terrifying. This scene left the trio utterly dumbfounded. Ahead, a look of contempt flickered in the giant rock dragon lizard's vertical pupils. It could sense that the life tier of the beast before it wasn't as high as its own. Only those pitch-black flames gave it a slight sense of threat. Just then, Heiming displayed a hint of provocation. The giant rock dragon lizard immediately flew into a rage. It stomped its forelimbs violently, shattering the ground as massive, sharp stone pillars dozens of meters thick shot toward Heiming. Heiming neither dodged nor retreated. It stood firmly in front of us, taking the attack head-on with its indestructible body. Black light flashed on its claws, instantly pulverizing the stone pillars. By then, the giant rock dragon lizard was already charging forward with a roar. Its massive palm, over 100 meters thick, crushed the air as it slammed down viciously. Heiming swiftly dodged to the side and swung its claw in retaliation, but the strike only scraped off a superficial layer of the boulder-like scales. The giant rock dragon lizard then spun around, slamming its palm into Heiming. This time, the strike was imbued with its innate power. A dazzling yellow light flashed, instantly increasing its weight to a terrifying degree. It smashed down like Mount Tai, with such immense force that the very air detonated. Heiming's protective golden light shattered almost instantly, and it was knocked back dozens of meters before it managed to stabilize itself. Seeing the battle erupt so violently, Qin Kong quickly shouted, Kexi, cast your AoE buffs immediately. Throw all your single target buffs onto Chen Lin's summon. His decision was swift. He realized the giant rock dragon lizard was far stronger than they had imagined. A level 50 mutant beast with a king tier bloodline was simply not something they could kill across such a massive level gap. Even fighting it at the same level would be extremely difficult. But at the same time, he was deeply shocked. This summon was only level 16, yet it could hold its own against a level 52 mutant beast. That was a massive gap of 36 levels. Its combat power was utterly terrifying. Ye Kexi nodded without hesitation. A dazzling golden radiance lit up around her. 4 pentagram arrays materialized beneath the trio, and Heiming, providing them with a continuous surge of power. Then, a series of glowing halos were layered onto Heiming. Heiming's 4 core stats instantly spiked significantly. Seeing this, Ye Kexi was dumbfounded. If these buffs had been cast on Qin Kong, his stats would have at least doubled, yet their effectiveness on the summon was significantly reduced. Its base stats were terrifyingly high. Ye Kexi didn't stop there. She channeled her innate power, Blessing of the Retribution Goddess. After a brief incantation, the projection of a divine goddess, wielding twin swords and looking down upon the world, with indifference, slowly manifested above the giant black wolf. As the goddess opened her closed eyes, a terrifying, annihilating pressure erupted. At this moment, I also silently cast my enhancement skill. With a myriad of buffs stacked onto it, He Ming's stats skyrocketed straight to 2000. The surge in magic power drastically raised the temperature of the pitch-black flames. Even from 100 meters away, Qin Kong and the others could feel the terrifying, scorching heat. This sudden transformation made the giant rock dragon lizard extremely wary. It suddenly glared at Qin Kong's group, its vertical pupils filled with rage. Qin Kong tensed up. Drawing his sword, he immediately activated his innate talent, Limit Transcendence. The soil beneath his feet exploded as he seemingly teleported right above the giant rock dragon lizard's head. In the blink of an eye, he unleashed over a dozen strikes, but it felt like hacking at solid stone. He couldn't break its defenses at all. To the worm, it didn't even amount to a mere tickle. Not daring to overextend, Qin Kong immediately retreated. However, just as he vaulted off the beast's head, the giant rock dragon lizard roared furiously to the sky. The very next second, a blast of yellow energy exploded outward, expanding into a 100-meter domain. An overwhelmingly heavy gravitational force crushed down onto Qin Kong, slamming him from midair straight into the ground. Just as Qin Kong struggled to his feet, a colossal paw cast a huge shadow over him, plunging downward. Ye Kexi's face paled. She instantly deployed all her defensive abilities, but the barriers she erected were as fragile as paper. They shattered without lasting even a single second. Despair gripped Qin Kong's heart. Ignoring his tearing muscles, he tried desperately to dodge. But just as the giant paw was about to crush him flat, a black shadow dashed over in a flash. The terrifying impact sent the giant rock dragon lizard tumbling backward, stirring up a gale that felt like a collapsing mountain. Looking at the giant black wolf standing before him, Qin Kong's eyes were filled with gratitude. Retreating swiftly from the giant crater, he returned to his original spot. With a bitter smile, Qin Kong said, "I didn't expect the Mega Rock Dragon Lizard to have a second talent. Its combat power might be even stronger than a level 55 mutant beast. We're completely useless right now. I was worried he'd be unreliable earlier, but now the tables have completely turned. If it weren't for He Ming, he would have surely died." Just then, the yellow domain expanded once again. Under the terrifying gravity, He Ming was fiercely suppressed. Qin Kong asked worriedly, "Can it win?" Ye Kexi gritted her teeth hard, sweat rolling down her cheeks as she put all her effort into maintaining He Ming's buffs and healing. "If it doesn't work, let's retreat together. We'll abandon the mission this time." My expression remained calm. "Fall back 1,000 meters. He Ming is about to use his ultimate." The three of them were instantly stunned. That wasn't even its full strength, but they only hesitated for a moment before turning and running away without hesitation. Half a minute later, the three looked back from 1,000 meters away. A terrifyingly ferocious roar suddenly echoed through heaven and earth. Terrifying pitch-black flames erupted violently, spreading across a 1,000-meter radius. The tyrannical aura climbed to its absolute peak, making the surrounding miles feel like the end of the world. A massive 700-meter-tall ferocious phantom slowly materialized, emitting a terrifying presence that hungered to devour everything. The three of them turned pale, deep fear rising in their hearts. Ye Kexi's legs went so weak she couldn't even stand up. She could feel that the goddess of divine punishment protecting He Ming was instantly torn apart by this power. To her, the shock of this was no less than seeing the god she worshipped slapped to death. Meanwhile, the Mega Rock Dragon Lizard's eyes were filled with dread. Trapped within the pitch-black flames, the rock scales across its body melted layer by layer. The yellow energy streams were devoured the moment they left its body, and its heavy earth domain was completely suppressed. Seeing He Ming flash a mocking expression again, it instantly roared in sheer fury and lunged forward. Its giant claws parted the black flames, striking down with a yellow glow. He Ming didn't dodge or evade. The ferocious phantom raised its claws, formed of terrifying flames, and slashed outward like lightning. Their clash erupted into a shockwave of black and yellow. A deafening boom echoed in all directions. The Mega Rock Dragon Lizard suddenly felt a sharp pain in its paw. Its highly defensive rock scales were instantly torn through by the flaming claws. The terrifying heat slowly devoured its life force. It finally panicked, channeling its talent to the absolute limit. It abruptly spun around, sweeping its 100-meter-long tail with a howling force. He Ming leaped lightly to dodge the attack, then immediately appeared right in front of the lizard. As the claws swung down, the Mega Rock Dragon Lizard let out a miserable roar. It had always relied on its formidable defense to run rampant, hardly ever taking any damage. But now it was on the verge of critical injury. Moreover, while its defense and strength were high, its speed was slow and clumsy. In contrast, He Ming, boosted by the phantom's attack range, began directly kiting the beast, leaving it stomping the ground in impotent rage. After half an hour of attrition, the Mega Rock Dragon Lizard could no longer stand steady. Its life was about to be completely drained, its eyes filled with terror. He Ming remained completely unfazed, his slit-like eyes showing only greed. The pitch-black flames boiled over as his claws swung out to deliver the final blow. The Mega Rock Dragon Lizard roared in unwillingness before its massive body crashed heavily to the ground. In an instant, it was devoured completely by the black flames. At this moment, a drone flew swiftly through the sky. Everyone at the command center was shocked by the apocalyptic scene on the ground. Yang Zhao's gaze locked onto the giant black wolf standing tall, and seeing no trace of the Mega Rock Dragon Lizard, He instantly understood the outcome. He gasped sharply in awe. Just how many more surprises is this kid going to give me? Crossing 2 major tiers the first time was already humanity's limit. Then he crossed 3 major tiers to kill the 3-headed rot snake. Now, at level 16, he forcibly slayed a level 52 star bloodline mutant beast, a gap of exactly 4 major tiers. Yang Xiao was 100% certain that the alien race's target was Chen Lin. He sneered, "It's time to set up properly. This net to catch the big fish needs to be made sturdier. Tomorrow, post the recording of Chen Lin killing the 3-headed rot snake to the Academy forum. Let everyone know that a true dragon has emerged in our great Sha." The others agreed with excited faces. Qin Kong and the other two returned to the spot. Yi Kexi looked full of admiration. "Junior Chen Lin, this summon of yours is way too terrifying." Wang Yao and Qin Kong also nodded. Qin Kong said, "Other academies say I'm carrying you, but actually, you're the one carrying me." Wang Yao and I didn't contribute at all this time. "You and Kexi can split the contribution points." I shook my head. "We'll stick to what we agreed on originally. I want to continue hunting level 50 mutant beasts. How about you guys help me out?" After devouring the Mega Rock Dragon Lizard and its life crystal, Heiming's evolution points increased directly by 150, which was 10 times that of a level 40 mutant beast. If we kill 10 more, he might be able to evolve again. Qin Kong's eyes lit up, and he gladly agreed. Yi Kexi's support role was crucial. Next, the three began clearing out the surrounding level 50 to 54 mutant beasts. Until late at night, when I saw Heiming's evolution points were maxed out, I called the three of them and prepared to head back. Back at headquarters, everyone was full of praise. In just one day, they had killed 11 mutant beasts above level 50. Their clearing speed was even faster than the mentors. A female officer nearby said, "There are only a little over 1,000 mutant beasts above level 50 in the entire Balian mountain range. At this rate, it's estimated the cleanup will be finished in just over a month." Yang Xiao nodded in satisfaction. These level 50 mutant beasts are a hidden danger for monster hordes. Once they are killed, the more intelligent, stronger giant beasts won't dare attack so easily. Returning to the dorm, I picked up my special device and used contribution points to apply for 10 level 2 life crystals. The purchasing power of contribution points is higher than academy credits. It is the core of the frontline trading system and can only be obtained by making contributions to humanity. Clearing out mutant beasts naturally counted. Soon, the life crystals were delivered. I opened the safe and grabbed all 10 thumb-sized crystals in my hand. The crystals instantly shattered, turning into fragments of red energy that flowed into my body. My level rapidly shot up to level 20. Looking at the second-class advancement prompt on my personal interface, I clicked confirm without hesitation. Instantly, a flash of white light appeared. When my vision returned, I was already standing in a plane. A transparent box appeared before my eyes. Coordinate number 00996. This is a world invaded by the evil fallen race. They enslave everything to multiply and grow stronger. Task: kill the evil fallen. Participants: 1 person. Time limit: 24 hours. Cannot manually return to Blue Star. I frowned slightly. The evil fallen were one of the alien races attacking humanity. To think they still had the spare capacity to invade other worlds. My eyes instantly grew solemn. A while later, I arrived at the edge of a cliff. Beside a massive plantation, I saw a group of evil fallen with completely gray skin, over 2 meters tall, standing upright with twin horns on their heads. With mocking eyes, they urged numb-faced humans to bleed themselves to feed a small, pitch-black tree bearing blood-red fleshy fruit. Seeing this scene, I was filled with rage. With a flash of silver light, armor covered my entire body. Instantly, the dirt exploded beneath me as I leaped down from the 100-meter-high cliff. While 2 of the evil fallen were talking, a loud crash suddenly echoed behind them. They turned around in confusion, only to see a silver blur rush rapidly out of the billowing dust. In the blink of an eye, I was right in front of them. My armor-clad fist swung fiercely, carrying a white shockwave striking directly into an evil fallen's face. With the sound of a shattering nasal bone, it flew back dozens of meters like a cannonball, crashing into the dirt. Its brain was severely concussed. If not for its tough physical body, its head would have already exploded. The other evil fallen's expression changed drastically. It gathered dark energy into a spear and thrust it forward. I neither dodged nor evaded. I grabbed the spear tip directly and shattered it with raw force. The evil fallen panicked and turned to call its kin, but my speed was much faster. Drawing my warblade, I slashed down, splitting it cleanly in 2. Gray blood splattered across my armor. All the evil fallen finally reacted, turning their terrifying, rage-filled eyes toward me. I felt no fear. My warblade slowly transformed into a mighty 3-meter-long halberd. Swinging its terrifying weight caused the air to boom and roar. Then, turning into a blur, I instantly appeared 3 meters in front of Jintie. Jintie was horrified. He raised his shield to block but was instantly blasted away, smashing into the cliff wall. Breaking free, he looked at me gravely. Neither his strength nor his speed was a match for mine, and he was a 3-ring evil fallen. But realizing there were 80 evil fallen in the plantation, Jintie laughed cruelly. Attack together. Tear him apart and feed him to the bloodfruits. All the evil fallen roared. Dark energy surged, filling the air with a repulsive aura. I was completely unaffected. My body exploded forward, sweeping the halberd as it blasted through the air. The halberd's light blew the heads off the 2 nearest evil fallen. Countless spears pierced toward me, but failed to penetrate my armor even an inch. While the evil fallen were in shock, the halberd tore through the air, instantly slaughtering a whole swath of them. I was like a humanoid beast. Bolstered by my 220 points of strength attribute, wielding a 13-ton halberd With wide sweeping strikes, the evil fallen fell to the ground, mangled and broken. Jinti began to panic, using dark energy to form chains and bind me. Quick, let's restrain him together. As soon as he spoke, Jinti felt a tremendous force from the other end of the chains, and his body was dragged forward uncontrollably. A terrifying halberd smashed down from above. His expression changed drastically. He frantically activated his talent. His skin split open, growing a hard black exoskeleton. Yet, he was still cleaved in half by the halberd. Seeing his brother die tragically, Jinta's eyes widened in fury, and he turned to flee toward the royal city. I immediately transformed my halberd into a spear, aimed at Jinta's fleeing figure, flexed my arm muscles, and hurled it with all my might. The spear pierced through the air, instantly obliterating his head. The remaining fallen instantly roared, "He lost his weapon! Get him!" But just as they spoke, I obliterated a charging fallen's head with a single punch and began hand-to-hand combat. Every punch unleashed a white shockwave. It didn't take long before all 80 fallen were crushed to pieces. Just as I was about to retrieve my spear, a massive eye formed by gray array patterns suddenly appeared in the sky. I looked up at that giant gray eye. It seems I've been discovered. Then, I took a deep breath, and with a thought, summoned Haiming. Its 100-meter-long body exuded a fierce and terrifying aura. A massive horde of fallen was already on their way. To be safe, I immediately clicked to confirm its evolution. Following my click, the core essence deep within Haiming trembled violently. Waves of terrifying evolutionary power swept through its body, then transformed into a black pillar of light that pierced the clouds, completely shattering the gray eye. The world seemed to tremble. Haiming howled at the sky, and its terrifying tyrannical aura, carried by its roar, echoed for thousands of meters. Crazy, congratulations, your summon Haiming has acquired a new talent, Dual Pupils of Death. I breathed a sigh of relief. It was another massive, all-around upgrade. The most powerful part was its flames upgrading to Heavenly Blaze. Fusing 3 types of power allowed it to form a domain. As for the Dual Pupils of Death, though I hadn't used it yet, an A-rank talent couldn't possibly be weak. Right at that moment, a ray pattern suddenly flickered in the sky, and the massive gray eye reappeared. Immediately after, a dense horde of fallen charged fiercely from the horizon. The 10 leading fallen were a staggering level 55. Such a high difficulty for a level 20 Ascension dungeon had never been seen in human history. With a mere thought, my spear transformed back into a halberd. I said coldly, "Haiming, leave none alive." As soon as I spoke, Haiming's body began to grow rapidly. It swiftly transformed into a terrifying black behemoth, 550 meters tall at the shoulder and a full 1,000 meters long. Pitch black flames erupted across its body. Its deep blue slit eyes had turned into gray dual pupils, radiating an aura of death that made all living things tremble. Its ferocious roar echoed for over a dozen kilometers. Under its terrifying pressure, all the fallen froze in their tracks. They felt a deep, bone-chilling terror from the inside out. The horrific flames raging across its body made them feel an extreme sense of danger. Even from several kilometers away, the scorching heat remained undiminished. With its 1,000-meter-long body, a slow step from Haiming covered hundreds of meters. This single step instantly put the 5-ring fallen on high alert. Suddenly, Haiming exerted its power, and the ground within hundreds of meters cracked apart. It simultaneously activated swiftness to boost its speed and wellspring to absorb worldly energy. Its massive figure instantly appeared amidst the fallen horde. Its gray dual pupils stared at them coldly. Haiming raised its enormous claw and slammed it down, casting a huge shadow. Many fallen were smashed into mincemeat by the terrifying claw, instantly consumed by the pitch-black flames. Seeing this, Lealis, their leader, immediately shouted, "Ignore this monster. Go kill that human." Watching all the fallen bypass it, Haiming's dual pupils turned instantly icy. Its front paws slammed down, and with a deafening roar, its pitch-black flames blasted outwards for thousands of meters, devouring everything in their path. Countless fallen were plunged into panic. Not only did they feel the agonizing heat, but they also felt their life force being rapidly drained. In mere seconds, the weaker fallen were reduced to ashes. Lealis was utterly shocked. "Damn it! What kind of power is this? It's directly burning my life essence." Life essence represents one's lifespan. Once lost, it cannot be restored without precious heavenly treasures. He hurriedly ordered, "Attack, now! If we drag this out, even if we win, we won't have long to live." The 9-5-ring fallen nodded, quickly manifesting various weapons and unleashed their ultimate killer moves. However, when their attacks landed on Haiming, a golden light surfaced, radiating an unshakable aura. All the attacks were completely blocked. Lealis gnashed his teeth. How is its defense so strong, too? Just then, a giant paw slammed toward him like a falling mountain range, accompanied by thunderous booms. Blackbone wings instantly burst from Lealis's back, and he decisively shot away like an arrow. But suddenly, endless fear flooded his mind. A pair of ruthless dual pupils imbued with the essence of death appeared in the void, staring right at him. Lealis's figure instantly froze in midair. Empowered by the dual pupils of death, Haiming's intimidation was vastly amplified. Then, the giant paw ruthlessly smashed down. Lealis was completely immobilized. The earth collapsed instantly, like an earth dragon rolling over. Looking at this black giant wolf that resembled a natural disaster, the remaining 9 fallen saw fear in each other's eyes. "This beast is too terrifying. It's a complete monster. Let's run." The other 8 fallen immediately nodded, sprouting blackbone wings as they fled desperately toward the royal city. Haiming completely devoured Lealis beneath its paw. It then raised its dual pupils and stared coldly. Casually locking on to one of the fallen, it instantly appeared behind it, and its black glowing claws directly tore it to shreds. Seeing this scene, the souls of the remaining 8-5 ring fallen nearly left their bodies. They wish they could grow another pair of wings. Right at that moment, Haiming's dual pupils surged with an intent of death that made the Fallen's blood run cold. It directly turned the area around one Fallen into a gray zone, instantly extinguishing its life force. Meanwhile, I watched the other incoming Fallen with an expressionless face. I dashed forward in a flash. My halberd swept in all directions. The Fallen exploded into flesh and blood under the peerlessly dominant halberd light, losing their lives. Soon, the surrounding 100 meters were covered in gray blood and corpses. After meeting up with Haiming, who had finished its battle, I sped in the direction the Fallen came from, preparing to slaughter them all. Having devoured thousands of Fallen this time, Haiming's size grew by another 5 meters. The energy required for its growth had noticeably increased, and its evolution points only went up by 100. It was nearly 10 times harder to level up compared to before. Just then, a majestic giant city hundreds of meters tall appeared in my line of sight. Countless Fallen had already retreated, leaving only a single level 59 Fallen waiting alone. Layatz's eyes were ice cold. Behind his 6-meter tall body, a pair of terrifying black bone wings spread wide. His entire body was shrouded in coercion, and his dark Fallen power manifested as tangible air currents, darkening the surrounding environment. Looking at this figure, I said coldly, "What a repulsive aura. Haiming, you deal with him. I'll go hunt down the other Fallen." Haiming's body instantly expanded back to 1,000 meters. Pitch black flames erupted, making it look like a black disaster-bringing beast. Its fierce aura swept in all directions, shattering 1,000 meters of plains. Haiming shot forward instantly, appearing before the giant city. Looking at this black giant wolf that was over 100 times his size, Layatz's face remained completely unfazed. Black light flashed as his claws blasted through the air, falling instantly like a lightning strike. At the moment of impact, the city wall, hard as steel, directly exploded, as fragile as paper. However, just as the attack was about to land on Layatz, it was blocked by a barrier condensed from black air currents, completely unable to break through. A mere beast whose life level hasn't even reached the king realm. "Did you think killing a few ants would let you turn the world upside down?" Layatz said in a flat tone. He lightly flicked his finger, and the black barrier instantly expanded and exploded, directly blasting Haiming back several hundred meters. Following that, his dark power surged. In the blink of an eye, it transformed into a gigantic demonic blade over 100 meters long, exuding a terrifying, corrupted aura that caused all the weeds within 1,000 meters to wither into ash. Rings of dark currents continuously surged up around Layatz, pushing his aura to its absolute peak in an instant. "The Demon King's sons of our true fallen race are not like those trash. Prepare to embrace your death." Layartz violently swung down his demonic blade. A 100-meter blade phantom instantly slashed into Haiming. A golden light surfaced on Haiming's body, but it shattered under the immense pressure in mere seconds. Roaring, Haiming grabbed the demonic blade with his claws, locking it head-on with his tyrannical body and 2,500 constitution points. The surrounding ground instantly collapsed by dozens of meters. The demonic blade cleaved the area ahead, creating a massive, bottomless fissure. From this single strike, Haiming sustained considerable damage. Layartz looked on with an indifferent expression. "Not bad. You survived one of my attacks. Now I'll give you a chance. Become my mount. When I go to kill that human, just don't stand in my way." Hearing this, unprecedented fury instantly flared in Haiming's eyes. He glared viciously at Layartz and let out a ferocious roar that shook the heavens and earth. Pitch black flames erupted across his body, expanding to cover thousands of meters in the blink of an eye, engulfing everything within in a raging inferno. An utterly terrifying 2,000-meter brutal phantom slowly materialized. This time, the phantom was almost fully corporeal. The aura it emitted made all of creation tremble. Feeling that all-devouring power, Layartz's gaze gradually grew solemn. His life essence was actually being stripped away. Haiming's dual pupils stared coldly at Layartz. Without needing to move, he raised his sharp claw and brought it down. The brutal phantom mirrored his movement perfectly. Layartz's expression shifted slightly. He channeled his power of corruption to reinforce his barrier, but it still couldn't withstand the phantom's terrifying pitch-black fiery claw. He was viciously smashed into the ground. Layartz's face darkened. Feeling his life essence being continuously drained, he flew into a rage. A terrifying power erupted from his body, but it couldn't expand beyond 10 meters. He was instantly dumbfounded by this. Before he could react, the brutal phantom swiped its sharp claw once again. Layartz instantly crashed through the thick, sturdy city wall, sent flying backward for hundreds of meters. Right at that moment, Layartz's body suddenly enlarged to dozens of meters tall. Black patterns spread across his skin, and massive black bone wings spread open on his back, spanning a full 100 meters. A long black spear slowly materialized in his grasp. Black energy currents burst forth wildly. "Talent, corrupted demon avatar. Die!" Layartz roared furiously, and his figure instantly vanished. With a boom, he burst through layers of pitch-black flames, thrusting his sharp black spear forward. However, Haiming's reaction and speed were even faster. Utilizing the brutal phantom's attack range bonus, he swatted Layartz out of the sky like a fly, smashed him into the ground, and creating a massive crater. Struggling to stand, Layartz gnashed his teeth. As a corrupted noble since birth, he had never suffered such humiliation. "Bajin, what are you waiting for? Activate the Fallen Heaven Seal Array." His voice echoed to the distant rear. Instantly, a black sky curtain covered the area, enclosing the entire massive city like an inverted bowl. Dozens of meters wide, chains wreathed in the power of corruption emerged from the void, binding Haiming layer by layer. Countless black energy currents traveled down the chains to erode his body, as if trying to assimilate him. Seeing Haiming bound, Layartz laughed maniacally. Powered by tens of thousands of corrupted ones, Even someone at the 6th ring could never break free. I am going to thoroughly torture you. Just then, Haiming let out a ferocious roar. Fusing heavenly flame, greedy gluttony, giantification, and the dual pupils of death, the pitch-black flames instantly surged violently, expanding outward by 1,000 meters. A terrifying aura of death circulated throughout the entire domain. At this moment, anyone caught within this pitch-black sea of fire, every living creature, would be condemned to death. Even eternal immortal gods would fall here. Meanwhile, the brutal phantom over Haiming fully materialized. Its massive eyes revealed 2 pairs of dim, dual pupils brimming with a terrifying death intent. A single glance could annihilate its target. Within this domain, he was the absolute ruler of heaven and earth. Purgatory of death, activate. This domain formed by 3 fused talents was incredibly terrifying. Layartes' smile instantly froze, and his expression turned to sheer terror. Trapped within the purgatory of death, not only was his life continuously devoured and converted by the black flames, but it was also being slowly obliterated by the death intent. Damn it. Let's see if you drain me to death first, or if I assimilate you first. Layartes' face twisted in madness. He poured every drop of his power of corruption into the chains, instantly pushing their corrosive power to a whole new level. Boundless corruption enveloped Haiming's entire body, threatening to completely pollute his body and soul. Haiming roared at the sky. His indomitable will ground the corrupting force to a halt. Ever since his birth, he had been abandoned in the cruel forest by his pack due to his small, mutated size. Hunger and the bitter cold had nearly drained all his warmth. It was his master's summon that saved his life. From that moment on, Haiming swore to follow his master forever. He never fought simply because of a contract or a soul connection. The very meaning of his existence was to fight for his master. At the same time, the brutal phantom also let out a roar. Needing no command from Haiming, its swirling black and gray energy instantly shattered the chains. A massive claw swiped down, tearing away his bindings. The brutal phantom then slowly turned its gaze to Layartes. Its gray eyes were cold and merciless, as the terrifying death intent deep within them erupted. Layartes instantly sensed extreme danger. His entire body suddenly turned gray, and within seconds, most of his life force was obliterated, leaving him on the verge of death. Just then, a surge of black energy burst from within him, crushing the death intent. Layartes looked ghastly. The protective power left by his royal father was gone. Not daring to linger any longer, he turned and fled through the sky. Meanwhile, on the other side, I had arrived at the massive palace plaza at the back of the great city. From hundreds of meters away, I violently hurled my battle spear. It pierced the air, hurtling toward the dense horde of tens of thousands of corrupted ones, instantly slaughtering a huge swath of them. The remaining corrupted ones roared and unleashed their power of corruption. Dense black energy transformed into long chains that bound me tight. Boundless corrupting energy surged toward me along the chains. I didn't feel a thing, but Silver Butterfly's sorrowful cry echoed in my mind. My expression darkened and grew solemn. Just as I was about to endure the attack myself, a ferocious roar suddenly echoed from far away. A massive, dozens of meters long corpse smashed through countless buildings and crashed right into the horde of corrupted ones. The terrifying impact instantly crushed them into bloody pulp. The giant black wolf was practically unstoppable. His 1,000-meter frame pulverized every building in the blink of an eye. His tyrannical presence left all the corrupted ones trembling in terror. Staring at the massive corpse, all the corrupted ones were in absolute disbelief. Lord Layartes is dead. Panic instantly spread throughout their ranks. Haiming casually snapped my chains. I breathed a sigh of relief. However, looking at the death aura lingering around Haiming, I frowned. I couldn't let him use the dual pupils of death anymore. The backlash wasn't something his current state could withstand. Sensing my concern, Haiming explained via telepathy that the death aura would automatically dissipate after a while. Hearing this, I nodded and began looting all the corrupted ones in the palace. The Fallens, having just cleaned the palace, walked into the plaza. The sky suddenly turned pitch black. Endless fallen power filled the air, faintly forming a phantom. Finally, formed by the fallen power, the hundreds of meters tall phantom completely solidified into substance. Its facial features were blurry, clad in ferocious armor. A repulsive aura instantly erupted. Rings of black currents surged in all directions. Even with the Silver Butterfly's isolation this time, I could still feel the threat. Just then, a cruel laughter echoed. Hehehe, it's done. This fallen heaven phantom, forged from the power of tens of thousands of Fallens, possesses 6th ring strength and carries a trace of its true body's power. Bakum roared in anger. Boy, you killed our master, now pay for it with your life. I didn't respond. I took out the Tianquan sword staff from my ring and precast strengthening and recovery spells on Haiming. With a loud roar, Haiming instantly transformed into his giant form. His 1,000-meter body was shrouded in a ferocious aura, not losing out to the fallen heaven phantom in the slightest. Fusing 3 innate talents, the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain instantly expanded. The erupting pitch-black flames, tinged with golden light, contained the power of suppression, instantly pushing the gray domain back. The dozens of Fallens looked grim. They immediately retreated, not daring to stay within the black gold domain. How is this possible? His domain is different from before. Staying inside not only drains our life essence, but also suppresses our power. At this moment, a fierce phantom didn't form above Haiming's head. Instead, countless black gold patterns covered his surface, radiating a divine and mysterious light, majestic and domineering. Under this terrifying suppression, the surroundings became incomparably heavy. The black gold power erupted, giving him the aura of a fiend god suppressing purgatory. His roar echoed for tens of thousands of meters. Empowered by the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain, Haiming's physical body became even stronger. Every attack carried the power of suppression, heavy and terrifying. Seeing this, the dozens of Falons looked even more grave. They immediately injected their own fallen power into the fallen heaven phantom. The fallen heaven phantom instantly grew hundreds of meters taller, becoming even more massive. The two pairs of black bone wings on its back spread out to a full 1,000 meters. The gray domain instantly expanded, clashing continuously with the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain. The two were entirely incompatible. Rings of gray and black gold shockwaves blasted outward, spreading in all directions. The tier of this battle was too high. No one else could intervene. At the same time, in a gray palace countless worlds away, on a throne of bones, wearing a ferocious gray armor, a humanoid creature suddenly opened its pitch-black eyes. A terrifying aura instantly awakened. A fallen has used my power. He focused his mind to trace the source. Soon, following a mysterious connection, a sliver of his consciousness descended upon the fallen heaven phantom. Suddenly, gray light shot out from the phantom's eyes. It was no longer a mindless, dead object. Fallen heaven's consciousness had now possessed the phantom. He looked at Haiming and marveled. This black wolf isn't even half a year old, yet possesses 6th ring combat power. What terrifying potential. Just then, with a fierce roar, Haiming instantly broke through the gray domain. Ignoring the surging corrosive power, his domineering claws, imbued with suppression power and glowing black, slashed down ruthlessly. Fallen heaven frowned slightly. He instantly retreated 1,000 meters, attempting to soar into the sky, but Haiming stayed right on his tail, moving even faster. The terrifying power of suppression caused the phantom's body to sink heavily. Seizing this split-second opening, Haiming leaped high into the air, tearing with both claws simultaneously. Under the crushing force of suppression, Fallen Heaven's figure was slammed into the ground. It collapsed into a 1,000-meter-wide crater, creating an earth-shattering boom. Haiming instantly charged again. Empowered by the heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain, he gave Fallen Heaven no chance to create any distance. His sharp claws slashed down frantically. Simultaneously, his dual pupils of death erupted with the power of death, frantically obliterating his foe. Even though the phantom wasn't a living being, the dual pupils of death still forced the concept of death upon it. Treating all equally, Fallen Heaven's gaze grew extremely grave. A full 4 innate talent powers. Although losing a sliver of consciousness means little to me, this black wolf's potential is too immense. It must be eliminated. Otherwise, it won't be long before humanity gains another throne-tier powerhouse, hindering the true fallen race's invasion. Thinking of this, Fallen Heaven no longer hesitated. All of his fallen power suddenly exploded, blasting Haiming backward. He then immediately soared into the sky. Immediately after, endless fallen power surged in from all directions. The surrounding Fallens realized in horror that their own fallen power was being uncontrollably drained. As their bodies withered to death, a giant pitch-black spear a full 1,000 meters long was formed. Its terrifying power made the air crackle and explode. Rings of black currents surged in all directions. The scene was utterly horrifying. But it wasn't over yet. The gray domain surrounding Fallen Heaven continuously shrank, ultimately coating the giant pitch-black spear. This was the qualitative leap of the throne tier. Their domain mastery far exceeded that of lower-tier beings. Not only could they expand it to suppress foes, they could also compress and imbue it into weapons to multiply their power. Fallen Heaven's eyes were indifferent as he instantly locked onto my position. The next moment, Haiming instantly dashed forward. His massive 1,000-meter body stood firmly in front of me. Fallen Heaven sneered. I knew you would protect your master. Now die. But the very next second, his movements paused. The heaven-refining, hell-suppressing domain didn't expand. Instead, it continuously contracted inward. The immense power compressed so intensely that the air boomed. Finally, it fused entirely with Haiming's body. Instantly, the black gold patterns flared with blinding light. An ultimate power of suppression erupted. Thousands of meters of ground instantly caved in over a dozen meters deep, crushing countless rocks into fine powder. Fallen Heaven was both shocked and enraged. He hurled the 1,000-meter black spear. It tore through the air like a bolt of black lightning, instantly arriving right in front of Haiming. The destructive force of this strike was infinitely close to Tier 7. Yet, under the suppressive force surrounding Haiming, its speed was halved. Roaring furiously, Haiming raised his claws and directly grabbed the spear tip. The two terrifying powers collided and detonated. Shockwaves cascaded outward for tens of thousands of meters. Haiming's defense and physical strength grew even more formidable. He didn't yield a single inch, even as the ground beneath his feet continuously cracked and collapsed. Fallen Heaven immediately channeled his fallen power to the absolute limit, making the black spear even sharper. But after the two forces clashed and grinded against each other for several minutes, cracks finally appeared on the black spear tip and rapidly spread. With an earth-shaking roar, Haiming pushed his physical and domain powers to their absolute peak. The 1,000-meter spear instantly shattered into countless black fragments. At the same time, the Fallen Heaven Phantom also exhausted its power, turning into a black mist and dissipating. At the last moment, Fallen Heaven etched my appearance deeply into his mind. His consciousness returned to the Grey Palace. As Fallen Heaven stood up from his throne, his abyssal aura made all the demonesses tremble in fear. It is only level 20. How could it use domain compression? His eyes grew deadly serious. Such comprehension and power control are simply terrifying. The prerequisites to break through to the 10th ring throne, this Black Wolf had already achieved them at just level 20. What shocked him even more was that the Black Wolf's domain wasn't just coating its surface, but completely fused with its physical body. This was something only those at the Heavenly King level, above the throne tier, could accomplish. Fallen Heaven sighed softly. What a monster. He quickly composed himself and summoned a Grey Talisman, recording my information onto the true fallen race's kill list. Every human genius with throne potential was marked on it, so Fallon's at the 6th ring and above could instantly eliminate them. After doing this, he leaned back against his throne and closed his eyes in silence. Back on the devastated battlefield, Haiming's 1,000-meter body stood tall. The black gold divine patterns all over his body radiated sheer dominance. I canceled the strengthening and recovery spells. My head was spinning with severe dizziness. Even with the Tianquan Swordstaff's mental recovery effect, maintaining those buffs had still overloaded my senses. After a long wait, the prompt marking the end of the Ascension dungeon rang out. The next second, Haiming and I vanished from the spot. Time is up. Calculating rating, accumulated fallen kills, defeated Tier 6 Fallen Heaven Phantom. Saved 974 lives. Congratulations. Rating, perfect. Class growth stats +5. Skill, strengthening spell and recovery spell effects enhanced. Skill, summoning spell upgraded to Sacred Summoning Spell. I reappeared in my dorm room, immediately recalling Haiming to prevent the dorm from collapsing. Checking my status panel, my class hadn't advanced yet. I needed one more perfect rating in an Ascension dungeon. However, the skill improvements were massive. The strengthening spell's buff increased from 20% to 35%, and the recovery spell upgraded from slow healing to rapid healing, though its mana consumption was doubled. The biggest gain was the upgrade to my summoning spell. From now on, it would guarantee summons possessing a sacred aura. This left me completely full of anticipation. I didn't rush to summon. Instead, I checked the Fanyun City news on my phone. Seeing the report of hundreds of rescued people appearing out of nowhere, I breathed a sigh of relief. The report stated they were our kin from another world, who had been enslaved by the corrupted, and rescued by a silver-armored awakened, who teleported them to Blue Star. The authorities will properly resettle them. In the accompanying photos, their emaciated bodies seemed to have recovered slightly. Zhou Yuan must have fed them blood fruits. With my tense nerves finally relaxed, a wave of exhaustion hit me. I hit the bed and fell fast asleep. Early in the morning, Feng Ye and the other two returned, exhausted. Seeing me fast asleep, they woke me up, grinding their teeth in frustration. It turned out that after the military released the video of me slaying the Hydra, the forums had exploded. When everyone realized I had done it purely with my own strength, they frantically began taking quests to compete. This forced the three of them to skip resting as well. Cao Yang suddenly spoke up, saying the Beilong Academy students were using a team looping quest strategy, making their efficiency far exceed anyone else's. Their fighting spirit was instantly rekindled. They decided to skip eating and immediately gathered their teammates to continue questing. Seeing this, I just smiled and got up to head to the quest board. After not taking any quests for half a day, my ranking had dropped from 10th to over 2,000. After a moment of thought, I accepted a quest to kill a level 59 Dark Gold Dire Bear, along with a 6th Awakening quest, before turning to leave. I left the female desk officer completely dumbfounded. That 6th Awakening quest required killing an intelligent, terrifying behemoth. To this day, not even the mentors had completed it. In the command center, Yang Xiao rubbed his forehead, feeling both helpless and expectant. The drone assigned to me continued its tracking. An hour later, riding Haiming, I arrived deep within the mountain range. In an open clearing, I spotted the Dark Gold Dire Bear. It suddenly opened its dark gold eyes. As its massive 600-meter body stood up, the ground trembled. A tyrannical aura swept outward as it roared to drive us away. I silently dismounted and stepped back, leaving the battle to Haiming. Its tier was too high. I couldn't interfere in this fight at all. I had to quickly earn contribution points to exchange for metal materials for Yindai to absorb. Seeing me retreat to a safe distance, Haiming turned his head, his gray eyes staring coldly at the Dark Gold Dire Bear. His body rapidly expanded to over 1,000 meters in length, with a shoulder height of 650 meters. His ferocious aura erupted, striking fear into the Dark Gold Dire Bear's heart. The female officer in the command center was absolutely stunned. It's only been half a day, and it's already grown from a few hundred meters to 1,000. Yang Xiao was equally astonished. After all, an SSS-rank growth talent had never before appeared among humans. With the ground shattering beneath him, Haiming instantly charged forward. Pitch-black flames exploded outward, manifesting a ferocious phantom over 2,000 meters tall. A 6,000-meter radius was engulfed in flames, before retracting to 2,000 meters to conserve mana. After his battle with Duo Tian, his mastery over his domain and power had vastly improved. The Dark Gold Dire Bear roared, its entire body wrapped in razor-sharp currents of air. Its claws flashed with a golden light, but before the ferocious phantom, its 600-meter frame looked like a dwarf. As the pitch-black flaming claw slammed down, the Dark Gold Dire Bear unyieldingly raised its paws to block. Rings of black and gold shockwaves exploded outward. The ground quaked violently, and its razor-sharp air currents were completely devoured. The Dark Gold Dire Bear bore the weight of a mountain. The ground beneath its feet caved in, and its knees gradually buckled. It let out an angry roar, its muscles bulging, as it unleashed even stronger razor-sharp winds. However, the ferocious phantom suddenly shifted its movements. Haiming seized the opening to close the distance, and his dark claws slashed downwards, leaving 4 bone-deep bloody gashes. The Dark Gold Dire Bear shrieked in agony. Realizing the pitch-black flames were devouring its life force through the wounds, its eyes turned savage. It engaged Haiming in a frantic bloody brawl. Gallons of blood dyed the ground red, and it all belonged to the Dark Gold Dire Bear. Supported by the ferocious phantom, turning it into a 2-on-1 fight, Haiming remained completely unscathed. Finally, the Dark Gold Dire Bear roared at the sky, its aura climbing steadily. But then, it abruptly turned around and fled frantically towards the depths of the mountains. Giant trees snapped along its path, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Haiming paused for a split second before immediately giving chase. With an agility stat of over 2,500, his speed was pushed to the absolute limit, closing the gap in the blink of an eye. The dark gold dire bear looked back in terror, roaring out to summon its king for help. On a distant mountain peak, a slumbering behemoth slowly opened its eyes. Countless blue lightning bolts crackled around its body, as a terrifying roar echoed across 100 kilometers. Amidst a deafening earthly boom, a massive bear-like behemoth, standing over 1,000 meters tall and wreathed in blue lightning, approached on 2 legs. It was the level 62 Undying Thunderbear. The dark gold dire bear scrambled to its side, accusing Haiming of invading their territory without reason. Hearing this, the Undying Thunderbear reacted instantly. Blue lightning violently erupted, spreading wildly across the area. The clear sky suddenly poured torrential rain, as countless lightning bolts struck down. Thunderclouds condensed into the eye of a storm, creating an apocalyptic scene. This was the true might of a behemoth's domain, the ability to reshape reality itself. It was even stronger than Duo Tian's phantom, clearly indicating it possessed a king-tier bloodline. My gaze turned grave. Take out the heavenly power to see the account, and give the black name to bless the strengthening technique. Yi Ming in the eyes of the immortal madman. The earth on the soles of the feet burst, rushed in front of the black name in an instant. Right at that moment, pitch black flames, carrying a terrifying suppressive force, exploded out from Haiming's body. Mystical black and gold patterns illuminated his entire frame, as a domineering aura swept in all directions. The Undying Thunderbear's body heavily sank, its lightning domain completely suppressed. Heaven refining purgatory. I am the sovereign. The 1,000-meter-tall Haiming stood like an archaic fiend, suppressing the heavens and earth. A terrifying aura rippled around him. The Undying Thunderbear was thoroughly horrified. Watching the dark claws slash down like black lightning, it roared and swung its paws to meet the strike. The moment the black gold and blue energies collided, a shockwave exploded outward like a tsunami. The sheer impact was earth-shattering. The Undying Thunderbear pushed its domain to its absolute limits, but still couldn't break free from the oppressive suppression. Heaven-refining purgatory was a terrifying domain formed by fusing Haiming's 3 talents. Even a throne-powered gray domain wouldn't be able to rival it. It bellowed in fury, swinging its other claw, which was wreathed in violent lightning. Haiming remained completely fearless, meeting the strike head-on with his own dark claws. The 2,000-meter behemoths clashed repeatedly. Shockwaves continuously ruptured the air, the ground fractured, and all surrounding vegetation was utterly obliterated. Bolts of lightning rained down from the sky, repeatedly striking Haiming. Yet, he tanked it all with his tyrannical defense, refusing to give the enemy a single opening. Watching from a distance, I silently cast recovery spells. The previously even battle instantly tilted in Haiming's favor. The Undying Thunderbear roared in absolute rage. Shang-Er, go kill that human, now. The dark gold dire bear locked its savage eyes on me and charged. Haiming became instantly enraged. A deadly intent flashed in his gray eyes. He turned the space around the dark gold dire bear into a gray, life-eradicating dead zone. The bear instantly collapsed, severely wounded. The Undying Thunderbear seized this split-second distraction. Its claws transformed into a blinding pool of lightning, viciously slamming down onto Haiming's head. Under the terrifying impact, Haiming's front half sank into the earth, the ground crumbling beneath his paws. The Undying Thunderbear took advantage, pinning him down as lightning frantically bombarded him. Meanwhile, the dark gold dire bear struggled to its feet and charged at me with a roar. My expression darkened. Just as I was preparing for a tactical retreat, a loud rumbling echoed from a distance. From within the billowing dust cloud, a figure wielding a 4-meter-long great halberd and clad in golden armor dashed forward. It was Ji-Fei, shattering the ground with every step, while the tip of her halberd dragged a deep trench into the earth. As she closed in on the dark gold dire bear, she swung her halberd and leaped into the air. The halberd's blade expanded to over 20 meters wide and violently slashed down. The all-destroying halberd glow tore into the dark gold dire bear's already heavily wounded body, leaving massive gashes. The dark gold dire bear glared at her in fury and brought its massive paw down to crush her. Ji-Fei's battle intent surged. Her halberd expanded once more. She bolted forward instantly, dodging the strike, then delivered a sweeping horizontal slash that completely sliced through the dark gold dire bear's flesh. Within just a few minutes, the dark gold dire bear's massive body crashed to the ground. In its final moments of defiance, it unleashed a dense wave of razor-sharp air currents. Ji-Fei had anticipated this. Her chi and blood erupted into physical form, as a crimson halberd glow swept forward, completely obliterating the air currents. Finally, Ji-Fei leaped up one last time. Her 30-meter-wide halberd blade brutally smashed down, crushing the dark gold dire bear's skull and killing it instantly. She let out a breath, her fighting aura dissipating. Her halberd returned to normal, and she walked toward me with a smile. How was it? Was your mentor's battle touching enough for you? Recalling her brutal combat style, only one phrase came to mind. Female T-Rex. Ji-Fei narrowed her eyes, pressing the question with a dangerous glint. I quickly shook my head to change the subject. Mentor Ji, why are you here? There was a huge commotion, so I came to take a look. Mentor Jiang said the exact same thing earlier. The corners of her mouth curled up. Then do you believe me? I glanced at the halberd in her hand and said sincerely, of course. Seeing that I was unharmed, Black Nether relaxed, shrinking the heaven-refining purgatory to 1,000 meters. The suppressive force grew even stronger, instantly shattering the Undying Berserker Bear's suppression. The two sides engaged in a desperate clash once again, shattering the earth and collapsing mountain ranges. The scale of the battle was truly terrifying. Just then, the thunderclouds and lightning within a myriad of meters went berserk, striking the ground frantically. Endless black thunderclouds surged above Black Nether, forming a storm eye spanning a full 10,000 meters. A terrifying world-ending power gradually accumulated. Black Nether's gray eyes showed no fear as he controlled the heaven-refining domain to slowly retract. As the power was compressed, it immediately began to rumble continuously. In just a dozen seconds, the domain completely merged into his physical body. Instantly, black gold divine wing patterns shone brilliantly, and an incredibly terrifying suppressive force erupted. Under the darkened sky of heavy clouds, on one side was violently raging lightning flashing like divine punishment. On the other was a towering 1,000-meter giant wolf, his black gold patterns shining to the absolute limit. He looked up at the sky like a true god or demon. Their terrifying powers split the world in two. The scene was extremely spectacular. Within the storm's eye, countless lightning elements converged, crashing down with the undying berserker bear's furious roar. Instantly, the world within 10,000 meters went dark. An apocalyptic blue lightning pillar struck from the heavens. Under this 1,000-meter thick lightning pillar, everything, including the air, was completely obliterated. It directly engulfed Black Nether's entire body. Thousands of meters of land simply vanished. Yet, in the crater over 300 meters deep, the 600-meter-tall black wolf still stood unyielding. The black gold patterns all over his body shone fiercely, becoming the only radiant existence in this dim world. The undying berserker bear stared in sheer disbelief, roaring, "Impossible! How is this possible?" Under the suppressive force radiating from his body, Black Nether cracked the earth with every step, walking right toward the undying berserker bear. His gray eyes were cold and ruthless, filled only with killing intent. Black Nether suddenly lunged with his sharp claws, slashing down with terrifying suppressive force. Seeing the undying berserker bear die, cheers erupted throughout the command center. "We won! This summon is too awesome. He's literally a god." That figure standing unyielding under the apocalyptic lightning is something they'll never forget in their lifetimes. Yang Xiao burst into laughter. As a peak 9th powerhouse, he could see much more than the others. Mastering a domain is something only throne-level beings can achieve. Even he had only just managed to manifest his own domain, still half a step away from true mastery. More importantly, the Black Wolf could already merge with its domain, which is the signature ability of a heavenly king. By the time I returned to the dorms, it was already early morning. Just then, a soldier walked over and handed me a safe. "Commander Yang Xiao asked me to pass this to you." I nodded. Entering my room, I opened the safe, and 6 top-tier summoning materials immediately caught my eye. I was a bit surprised. Was this my reward for killing so many mutated beasts? Since that's the case, I might as well start summoning right now. It just so happens I've been anticipating a holy attribute summon. Arranging the summoning materials, I reached out and spread my hand in the void, activating my summoning skill. Formation patterns instantly appeared in my palm. As the connection to the other side was established, an extremely intense golden light suddenly erupted. A humanoid figure with golden hair and wings, exuding an aura of pure holiness, appeared. I glanced at her race and was completely amazed. It's actually an angel. Previously at Rift Canyon, Lolan managed to condense a phantom with just a trace of a high angel's power, and even that was considered an SS rank talent. This shows just how powerful the angel race is. From past to present, it seems no summoner has ever been able to summon such a mighty race. After all, they simply don't respond to summons, let alone forge contracts with you. However, seeing this little golden angel on the verge of death, with even the wings on her back broken, I fell into deep thought. Alright. If they aren't weak, they won't come. But they come crippled, huh? I smiled and shook my head. Since this little angel responded to my summon, there's no way I'd ever abandon her. I walked over and touched the little angel's pale forehead. Instantly, a voice echoed in my mind. Scanning initiated. Loyalty, never betray. Do you wish to initiate a lifebound contract? Without hesitation, I chose confirm, accompanied by an unimaginably intense pain shooting from the depths of my mind. Lifebound contract complete. Congratulations, your summon has awakened a unique talent, sun and moon rotation. The unconscious little angel was instantly lifted by a vast and profound power. This power turned into countless sequences and entered her body. Immediately, her severely depleted essence and life force rapidly recovered. After a long while, the little angel's golden eyelashes fluttered, and she opened her eyes radiating a holy aura. In her left golden eye, a grand sun seemed to rise and fall, containing a majestic and scorching intent. In her right eye was a cold, solitary moon that sent chills down one's spine. On her back, her soft golden wings were restored. They looked incredibly beautiful when slightly spread. Overall, both her appearance and temperament were far beyond the limits of human imagination. The little angel fluttered her wings and approached me. Her tiny hands grabbed my clothes as she called out hesitantly, "Master?" And looking at the little angel, I smiled and said, "From now on, we are partners. What is your name?" I didn't just give her a random name because from the moment an angel is born, they instinctively receive their own unique true name. Diana Eclipse. I nodded, feeling somewhat curious. "Diana, why did you agree to the summoning contract? In your current state, you're probably less than a year old, so you shouldn't have been able to accept it." At this moment, an angel, a race that disdains being summoned, was actually summoned by me. Hearing my words, Diana's eyes dimmed. I fell from the sacred tree and was eroded by a black airflow. Everyone else disappeared too. Hearing this, I immediately understood. Their home had been invaded by enemies, and my summon for Diana Eclipse at that moment was her only lifeline. I gently stroked her golden hair and comforted her. "Everything will be fine. One day, I'll take you back home." Diana gently nudged her head against my hand. Master." Then, with a thought, I checked the stat panel. Summon, Eclipse, Race, Angel. Level, 20. Skills, Divine Blessing grants the target a 50% boost to their attributes. Holy Radiance releases her own power to illuminate the area. Allies within range will continuously heal from injuries and gain a layer of divine protection that can resist any attack. Talent: Sun and Moon Rotation. Blazing sun in the sky, annihilation true power. Full moon high above, all things revealed. Sun and moon intersect, soul burning. When the solitary cold moon hangs high, sun and moon intersect, Ringblade manifests. Grants ultimate annihilation true power. When the sun and moon intersect, time of judgment, heaven and earth freeze. After reading this, I was completely shocked. The highlight is the sun and moon rotation. Whether it's the blazing sun or the full moon, they both look incredibly powerful. Especially when the two intersect, it can even bring heaven and earth to a standstill. That directly touches upon the laws of time. The angel race is truly absurdly strong. Afterward, I recalled Diana into my summoning space and prepared to head back out to grind monsters. At this time, in the command center, everyone was staring intently at the screen, waiting for me to come out with full anticipation. However, when they saw no beasts around me, they were instantly disappointed. I really want to know what his third summon is. I'm dying to know. It definitely isn't weak, right? The crowd began chattering and guessing. Yang Xiao didn't join in. No matter what the third summon is, with that black wolf around, my potential evaluation will absolutely not drop. Meanwhile, deep in the mountains, after a middle-aged man muttered some obscure incantations, the void began to vibrate madly. Countless cracks appeared and spread across reality, just like a shattered mirror. Immediately after, the space could no longer hold up and was torn dozens of meters wide by pitch-black demonic claws. Soon, from the other side, a full 100 aberrations walked over. Their strength was all between Tier 4 and Tier 5, but any stronger ones couldn't cross. The tolerance limit of this spatial channel is very weak, and it could collapse at any moment. The Supreme Ones could naturally open stronger channels, but if they did so, they would directly break the shielding array and be discovered. Hehehe, I'm going on a massive killing spree this time. Feeling the surges of malicious aura, the middle-aged man's face turned somewhat pale, but he forced himself to stay calm. Where are my promised resources? The leading aberration, Liakru, glanced at him, showing some disdain. He then threw a storage bag over. The middle-aged man hastily caught it with both hands. After sending his consciousness inside, his face instantly filled with excitement. These items were enough to push him straight to rank 7. And this was just an easily earned reward for leaking a piece of human intel. Liakru frowned and said, "Hurry up and give me the list of top geniuses here." The middle-aged man immediately handed over the list he had compiled recently. This person named Chen Lin, you must pay special attention to. Liakru was somewhat skeptical. He's only level 16 and has no talent. Why should we care about him? The middle-aged man explained. 3 days ago, he crossed a 28 level gap at just level 16 to slay a mutated beast. Saying so, he brought out a video as proof. After watching it, Liakru's face showed sheer shock. Such terrifying combat power. Among our aberrant true ancestors, only the supreme offspring can achieve this. We absolutely cannot leave this human alive. Beside him, Liakli's eyes lit up. Licking her lips, she said, "I'll go deal with him." Liakru frowned, knowing his sister had probably taken a liking to this human and wanted to assimilate him into a slave. But that was no different from killing him, so he ordered, "Find your respective targets. Begin the hunt. Leave no one alive." Hearing these words, all the aberrations revealed cruel smiles and flew off in different directions. Meanwhile, a patrolling microdrone instantly spotted this scene. It's the alien race. How could they appear here? Quickly notify the students to evacuate the mountains. Have all soldiers prepare their firepower. Looking at those aberrations who were at least Tier 4, the female officer looked grave and immediately issued a series of orders. Yang Xiao didn't look surprised at all. He simply said, "Let's go," and turned to leave. The female officer nodded. She understood Yang Xiao was likely going to support them personally, but doing so would undoubtedly worsen his severe injuries. Thinking of this, her eyes revealed deep hatred, blaming herself for not being a combat class and lacking the strength to fight. The others clenched their fists, a shadow cast over their hearts. Soon, the command center fell into silence, with only constant orders and communications being relayed. At this moment, on a distant high cliff, a seductive female aberration slowly flew down. Looking at the silver-armored figure guarded by the giant black wolf, Liakli smiled. What great luck. Found him so quickly. And he seems to be right in a weakened state. You're my toy now. I'm definitely taking you. Liakli licked her lips, and her figure suddenly dashed out, countless black threads spreading from her body. Feeling a disgusting aura surging over, I instantly opened my eyes, my gaze cold. And Haiming, who had sensed her long ago, looked up even earlier. When Liakli met those gray eyes, her heart instantly ran cold. What's going on? Her body couldn't help but tremble slightly, but she quickly suppressed it. Liakli decided to strike first, waving her threads to shoot them all out, sweeping toward Haiming like a swarm of locusts. Golden light emerged all over Haiming's body, blocking the threads. His gray eyes looked at her indifferently. The next moment, Liakli's consciousness suddenly found itself in a dark space of utter nothingness. A pair of cold, ruthless, dual-piled gray eyes opened. Under the gaze of those dual gray eyes, endless terror surged, flooding her entire mind. Liakli trembled incessantly, her body unable to move. She could only watch helplessly as Haiming walked closer step by step. With his massive size, he reached her in just a few seconds. He then stomped her into the ground with one paw. Pitch-black flames instantly erupted and began to devour her. Throughout the whole process, Liakli, a level 56 aberration, didn't even have the slightest qualification to resist. This scene instantly lit up the originally silent and heavy atmosphere of the command center. Great kill. That black wolf is badass. Haiming raised his paw and said in a deep voice, "My lord, she's not dead. She escaped." Hearing Haiming's voice, I replied coldly, "Go after her. make sure to kill her. Now that I have Diana with me, even if I let Haiming leave for a while, there will be no danger. As you command. His body shattered the earth as he instantly dashed in one direction. Over there, Liakli, with a face full of terror, flew rapidly towards the spatial channel. Too terrifying. That black wolf is simply too terrifying. Even now that those dual gray eyes have vanished, I am still overwhelmingly terrified. At this moment, Liakli only wanted to leave, and quickly bring back the news that humans had produced someone comparable to a supreme offspring. As for this operation to hunt down human geniuses, their side had definitely failed. With that terrifying black wolf around, any aberration who encounters it will die. Just then, an earth-shattering noise came from behind. Liakli was instantly startled. However, Haiming behind her didn't want to leave me for too long. His side suddenly grew, transforming into a beast thousands of meters tall. He instantly crossed dozens of kilometers and appeared behind Liakli. The giant paw fell, casting a huge shadow. The earth split apart, and the tremor spread across a full 10,000 meters. Under Haiming's giant paw, pitch-black flames completely devoured Liakli. Through Shaoai, I already knew the aberrations had reached the Balian Mountains. After thinking for a moment, I planned to split up and hunt these aberrations. Now that I had two powerful summons, sticking together would be a waste. Thinking of this, I called over a micro-drone and had it guide the way for Haiming. Haiming instantly burst forth, a hint of unprecedented impatience appearing in his gray eyes. The female officer sighed in admiration. To grow to such a level in just a few days, if given a year, could he fight against a throne? Just thinking about it was unbelievable. So far, China had only produced 85 thrones. This was the number accumulated over more than a full century. They had all fought for over a decade, standing out from countless generations of geniuses to become top human powerhouses. The reason they were so rare was largely due to the alien races. In the massive meat grinder of the frontline battlefield, no matter how much of a genius one was, they couldn't even make a splash. With just a single alien attack, countless people would be sacrificed, and many thrones would fall as a result. And today, the remaining number of thrones in China is only 30. Meanwhile, deep within the mountain range, a woman in golden armor wielded a fierce halberd wreathed in blood chi, suppressing a full 4-level 55 corrupted. Under the terrifying red gleam of the halberd, the very air was blasted apart. The 4 corrupted couldn't withstand the blows at all, retreating again and again. Watching this scene, Liakru frowned, slowly condensing a black spear in his hand. He had no time to waste here. There were still many geniuses waiting to be killed. Liakru's figure dashed out instantly, his black spear thrusting viciously with the power of corruption. Facing this sudden strike, Jifei reacted extremely fast. Her full-body blood chi erupted, and the halberd's blade instantly expanded. A berserk aura immediately swept the surroundings. Jifei's eyes were filled with battle intent. The halberd swept out with a red, bloody glow. Wherever it passed, everything was slashed to pieces. Liakru looked at his shattered black spear, his expression grave. Such combat power at only level 55. She must be eliminated. Liakru instantly unleashed his power of corruption. Black current surged out, spreading over a 100-meter radius. The light instantly dimmed. Seeing this, the other corrupted also began to unleash their power of corruption. Jifei's body was covered in a red glow, surrounded by blood chi to resist the erosion. Her eyes turned cold. Trying to assimilate me? You're courting death. Her figure instantly charged at Liakru. Amidst the explosive sounds in the air, she swung her halberd, locking onto him and attacking relentlessly. The 4 corrupted hastily followed up, attacking Jifei. But Jifei completely ignored them. Her aura reached the absolute peak of frenzy. She wouldn't stop until Liakru was dead. Under the corruption's erosion, her indomitable state couldn't be maintained for long. Once it faded, she might truly be assimilated. Qin Kong, fighting on the other side, noticed the situation here. His expression immediately grew anxious. He fully activated Limit Transcendence, madly slashing at the level 56 corrupted in front of him, wanting to go support Mentor G. Mentor G had fallen into the siege by the corrupted solely to save them. But the corrupted clearly noticed his intention and sneered coldly, directly tangling him in combat. Meanwhile, Liakru drank a bottle of gray blood. His aura skyrocketed wildly, reaching the 6th ring, his power directly hitting the throne realm. True blood was terrifyingly powerful. Liakru broke into a wide grin, condensed a black spear with one hand, and threw it. The terrifying spear tip pierced forward instantly, followed immediately by the sound of shattering armor. The black spear pierced through flesh and emerged from Jifei's back. Blood dripped from the spear tip onto the ground. Seeing this scene, Liakru laughed and walked up step by step. Become my slave. Just then, a silver battle lance tore through the air, piercing through the black currents, and embedded itself in front of Liakru's feet. A figure in silver armor rushed over from afar. Liakru frowned slightly. My sister actually didn't kill you? It seems she's already dead. Liakru showed no emotion whatsoever, feeling no sorrow for his sister's death. I glanced at the situation on the battlefield, immediately realizing this was beyond my ability to handle. I then willed it with a thought, and a humanoid creature, less than half a meter tall, with golden wings on its back appeared. A holy aura instantly filled the surroundings, causing the expressions of the 6 corrupted to change drastically. They all looked over. It's an angel, but immediately after, their gazes turned incredibly fiery. It's an infant angel. It has no means of attack. Corrupting an angel was the highest symbol of glory among the true corrupted race. Thinking of this, Liakru was ecstatic. Chen Lin, I really should thank you for bringing such a great gift. Sensing those disgusting gazes, Diana frowned. These black currents were very familiar. It was them who had invaded her homeland. Anger surfaced in Diana's eyes. She spread her wings and flew into the sky. A brilliant great sun faintly appeared in her left golden eye. Terrifying, scorching golden light erupted from her body. A massive, glorious golden great sun, a full 1,000 meters across, materialized midair behind her. Diana's infant body also transformed into an adult form at this moment. Tall and slender, her golden eyes revealed a majestic aura, majestic and holy. As the scorching golden light shone down, the black currents were completely purified in seconds. All the corrupted felt as if their bodies were thrown into hell, suffering in sheer agony. Their power of corruption was also directly suppressed. This filled their hearts with absolute horror. Historically, the true corrupted race and angels were mortal enemies who countered each other. But beneath this great sun, the balance was clearly broken. I shall purify your souls and cleanse your grievous sins. As her majestic and indifferent words fell, the great sun behind Diana instantly erupted. The golden light grew even more blinding, dyeing a 10,000-meter radius in gold, as if a second sun had appeared in the world. The terrifying solar power sent shockwaves around. Scorching golden flames suddenly ignited on the bodies of the six corrupted. The agony of their souls burning instantly made them roar. Liakru's face contorted, his previous ecstasy long gone, leaving only severe pain and ferocity. He tried his utmost to unleash the power of corruption. The intensity of the sixth ring, plus activating his talent, doubled its power, forming a black barrier over his body, attempting to isolate the golden flames. However, unlike Haiming's pitch-black fire, this attack targeting the soul could penetrate everything. It couldn't be physically blocked at all. Only soul-based defensive means could resist the erosion. As the black currents vanished, Jifei weakly raised her head, looking at that peerlessly beautiful figure standing tall in the sky, radiant, majestic, and too glorious to look directly at. She laughed. "You can even summon an angel. You're really something." Streams of holy power accompanied the golden light, sprinkling upon the earth. Everyone's injuries began to heal rapidly. Covered in bloody scars, Qin Kong felt a trace of warmth, and the pain of his wounds instantly eased. With no more worries, he immediately started attacking without defending, trading life for life. With the great sun dominating the sky, the situation on the battlefield was instantly reversed. The well-read Liakru only felt deceived by his knowledge. Damn it! Didn't they say infant angels only had support abilities? Meeting her gaze for just 1 second, Diana's majestic golden eyes made his whole body tremble. His eyes were stung to the point of bleeding, as if he were facing the absolute strongest of his own race. He knew he couldn't drag this out, otherwise his soul would be burned to death. He immediately roared, "Go kill that human!" Then, the black currents exploded, rushing toward Diana to shoot her down. With an indifferent expression, Diana slowly raised her hand. Countless scorching golden swords materialized around her, shooting towards all the corrupted. The golden swords, carrying the power of purification and burning, instantly pierced through Liakru's body, striking him straight down from 100 meters in the sky to the ground. Standing high in the sky, Diana was like a deity ruling over the great sun. All the corrupted gnashed their teeth. Pierced by the golden swords, not only were they injured, but the power of corruption in their bodies was also purified, and the burning of their souls accelerated. Damn it! Under this great sun, we can't fight at all. Liakru's face was grim. Don't panic. Queen Fulin said there would be people to help us encircle and hunt them. Just as he finished speaking, several figures in gray robes sprinted over from afar. Each of them possessed tier 6 strength. Seeing the shadow emblem on their gray robes, Jifei instantly recognized them, her expression filled with anger. "It's the shadow cult. These damn heretics." The cultists ignored her, instantly leaping over. Their target was clearly me. Seeing this, Diana raised her hand. Golden flames instantly ignited, scorching their souls. Beams of golden swords emerged and shot towards them. However, these cultists chose to tank the damage. Under the sun form, Diana is missing a terrifying killer. Then the big sun behind Diana slowly explores. Then, her right golden eye faintly manifested a full moon that accompanied it. As this lonely, cold full moon hung high, a radius of tens of thousands of meters instantly plunged into darkness. Faint moonlight reflected upon the world, bringing a terrifying, heart-palpitating chill. The expressions of all the cultists changed drastically. Looking up, unlike the great sun form, Diana's eyes were now cold and clear, devoid of any emotion. The holy aura had also vanished, leaving only a terrifying chill radiating from her. The wings on her back and her golden hair also turned silver white. Standing before the full moon, she looked like a proud and aloof deity. Around her, 9 ring blades manifested, slowly rotating with the dark red true power of obliteration. As Diana's cold voice echoed, 6 obliteration ring blades instantly tore through the air. The speed was absolute, instantly reaching the 6 heretics. Their expressions changed drastically, as they each deployed their defenses. However, under the true power of obliteration that could break any defense, their defenses were as fragile as paper. Everyone's bodies were sliced in half. Right at this moment, Liakru, free from the great sun's suppression, instantly dashed toward Diana in the sky. Terrifying black currents surged, transforming into a 12-meter-long black spear that he violently hurled. The black spear pierced the air at supersonic speed, rushing straight at Diana. 1 obliteration blade immediately met the attack, shattering the black spear inch by inch. The remaining 2 ring blades instantly shot toward Liakru. Seeing this, several abominations on the ground immediately charged at me, their eyes filled with killing intent. This human must die. That black wolf had a combat power gap of a full 28 levels. Even so, this angel who controlled the sun and moon was even more absurd, suppressing them despite a 50 to 60 level gap. If he was allowed to fully mature, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, Diana immediately raised her hand, recalling 3 obliteration blades, and instantly slashed them toward the abominations. The 3 obliteration ring blades suddenly collided and merged together, instantly turning into a 3-ring intertwined form. The true power of obliteration wrapped around them grew even stronger, With a flash of dark red light, all the abominations were instantly shredded to pieces. Glancing again at Liacru, who was still struggling to defend, Diana slowly raised her hand. The 6 obliteration ring blades began to merge. Seeing this, Liacru's expression drastically changed. Activating his throne true blood and his remaining fallen power, he blasted the 3 ring blades away. Liacru looked at me with immense jealousy. Such a perfect angel, why would she choose to take orders from him? But soon, Liacru sneered coldly. He pulled out a pitch-black roulette. As he spun it, a 100-meter-wide light instantly lit up beneath his feet. This opportunity to summon a throne was originally meant for that monster who awakened an SSS rank talent, in case strong experts were protecting him. But both of my summons had shown far too terrifying potential. He couldn't let me continue to grow. Countless profound runes constantly intertwined, forming a pitch-black summoning array. A dozen-meter-tall gray abomination slowly emerged. A terrifying aura instantly swept out, almost suffocating everyone. Chin Kong and the others immediately turned pale, feeling a deep sense of despair involuntarily welling up. Wisps of black energy slowly spread, eroding and withering all grass and trees in their path. Diana's expression turned grave. With a raise of her hand, the full moon rotated and transformed into a blazing sun. However, the dazzling golden light couldn't shine through it all. I immediately realized things were bad and was about to run for my life. But I didn't do so, because just as the black array appeared, Yang Xiao walked up beside me, patted my shoulder and said, "I've been waiting for this alien throne for a long time. Don't be afraid." Hearing this, I instantly realized this was a long-planned trap. Sure enough, this alien throne ignored us completely, and instead looked expressionlessly toward the Hengshen base. Over there, as the summoning array was established, an overwhelmingly powerful aura instantly erupted, shattering the clouds in the sky and rushing over with terrifying momentum. In just a few breaths, he descended upon us. Looking at the young man standing in the void, the alien throne slowly spoke. "Zhangzhou, you're supposed to be guarding the front lines. Daring to come here? Aren't you afraid your defense line will be breached by my race?" Jiangzhu waved his hand and said, "Whatever. Our human race is just slacking off anyway." The alien throne immediately realized he had fallen into a trap, but he didn't care. Jiangzhu glanced down and shouted, "Why aren't you leaving yet? Waiting to be shocked to death?" Hearing this, Yang Xiao immediately led everyone away. A battle between thrones, even just the aftershocks, could destroy an area of over 100,000 meters. Even if Zhangzhou's domain could isolate the power, they would still be a hindrance if they stayed here. Seeing this, the alien throne didn't stop them. With Jiangzhu here, he couldn't touch anyone anyway. As one of the more active thrones on the front lines over the past 2 years, his exact level of strength was practically common knowledge among all alien experts. Just at the moment of their departure, a gray domain suddenly expanded. Even with the power isolated, the aftershocks of the 2 thrones clashing still shook the earth for hundreds of thousands of meters. The remaining people prepared to continue purging the rest of the abominations. I, however, was held back by Yang Xiao. "Chen Lin, just let your summons go." I thought about it for a moment and felt it was doable. Silver Butterfly hadn't leveled up in a long time. She would probably struggle even against a 4-ring abomination. So I let Diana go kill the abominations alone. Yang Xiao looked at me and sighed emotionally. "I really didn't expect that your 3rd summon would actually be an angel. An angel's terrifying combat power is scarcely inferior to that black wolf's. If you can ascend to the throne level in the future, it's equivalent to directly adding 2 throne-level fighters to the human race." Thinking of this, Yang Xiao continued, "The aliens thought that through traitors they had figured out all of humanity's trump cards. In reality, those were intentionally leaked by us just to breed their overconfidence that they control everything, so we could brutally trick them later." He valued me highly, pouring out almost all the inside information to me. I had no questions. I explained. "Now I see the full picture of this chess game. Since the news couldn't be hidden, the human race went with the flow and set a trap. First, devour all the elite abominations invading the rear, and finally, bait an alien throne to the rear and kill it. The price is that some geniuses will perish in this plan. They wouldn't even know they were just bait. But wars between racial civilizations are just like this." At this moment, Haiming and Diana, who went to kill the abominations, returned. Diana reverted to her normal state. She flew to my side, her small hands tightly grasping my palm, looking just like my daughter. After a full dozen hours of fierce battle, the gray domain in the distance dissipated. A young man stepped through the void, crossing tens of thousands of meters in an instant. Seeing his extremely weak aura, Yang Xiao immediately stepped forward and asked, "Brother Zhang, how did it go?" "Hilarious. A mere alien throne. I can suppress him with a flip of my hand. What could possibly go wrong?" Jiangju's tone was disdainful, but Diana beside me silently cast sacred radiance. She could clearly sense that this young man was suffering severe erosion from fallen power. Jiangju immediately frowned. "Little girl, a throne's injuries aren't something you can heal. Wait, you're an angel? Don't stop. Keep it up for a few more seconds." Diana shook her head. "My sacred power is exhausted. A throne's fallen erosion is too terrifying. Even if sacred power can counter it, I can only dispel a fraction of it." Hearing this, Jiangju forcefully suppressed his discomfort and sighed. "I guess I'm carrying too heavy a burden after all." I looked on with confusion. "Are all thrones like this? Brother Zhang, let me introduce you. This is Chen Lin. He's the alien's main assassination target." Zhang Jue instantly shifted his gaze to me. "You're the guy who could pin my head to the ground and beat me if we were at the same level?" I looked completely bewildered. He then turned to look at Haiming squatting to the side. His eyes lit up. "What a majestic wolf. Let me ride him." Saying so, he was about to leap forward, but Haiming instantly dodged away, clearly extremely unwilling. Jiang Zhou's face stiffened. "What is the meaning of this? You dare to despise a throne? If I don't get to ride you today, I'll write my name backwards." He was about to force his way over, but Yang Xiao stopped him. Brother Zhang, you can't. This is an important pillar for China's future. We cannot afford to cause a rift with it. Jiang Ju stared resentfully at Yang Xiao. Turning around with his hands behind his back, he said in a lonely tone, I have made many contributions to the human race, yet I can't even ride a single wolf. Sigh. I'm leaving. Having said that, he slowly flew toward the Hunshan base. Yang Xiao and I quickly followed. Arriving at Yang Xiao's private office, Zhang Jie went straight to the main seat, making himself at home without any hesitation. Yang Xiao asked, Brother Zhang, how is the situation on the front lines now? Has it gotten worse again? Over the years, Zhang Jue stayed in the rear, suppressing his worsening curse while preparing to break through to the 10th stage. Frontline changes can only be known through intelligence reports. The alien races are probably going to launch another fierce attack to wear down our vital fighting forces, he said in a deep voice. They do this every once in a while. Every time at least tens of thousands of soldiers are sacrificed, and even throne-level experts fall. Relying on their massive population base, they forcibly trade lives for lives. But the human race is completely different. Every soldier's death is a huge loss. Especially those geniuses with hidden classes, they are bound to grow into rank 9 powerhouses in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Ju tossed over a storage bag filled with life crystals and various resources. Your summoned creature has terrifying potential. Naturally, we won't be stingy. The resources you deserve go far beyond this. Yang Xiao chimed in with a smile. These words moved me slightly. I could clearly feel how highly they valued me. If I chose to develop secretly and burst forth suddenly, I might be able to amaze everyone, but there's a high chance I'd be swatted to death by an alien throne. Although revealing my talent now comes with risks, the human race will absolutely not stand idly by. Not only are they using their trump cards to assign a throne for my protection, but the resources they provided are extremely generous. A total of 500 level 5 and level 6 life crystals, and body-refining origin fruits worth 1,000 contribution points each, given without hesitation. The reason I am valued by the human race is not because of the summoned creature's abnormal strength itself. My true trump card is my talent that grants terrifying power to my summoned creatures. After chatting with Yang Xiao for a while, I took my leave, returned to the mountain range, and summoned Haiming. I fed it all the life crystals from the storage bag. Haiming instantly erupted in pitch-black flames, slowly devouring the crystals. Not long after, its evolution value increased by 1,766 points, reaching 1/3 of what is needed for completion. Next, guided by the mutated beasts' locations provided by Xiao I decided to go deeper into the mountain range to continue hunting. Over the following days, the mutated beasts above level 50 in the Balian mountain range were completely wiped out. A total of 16 level 60 giant beasts, along with over 100 level 50 mutated beasts, were all devoured by Haiming. Its size grew by 15 meters, and all its stats increased by 30 points. Inside the command center, everyone was genuinely thrilled. With these giant beasts dead, and without their leaders, the threat of a beast tide is virtually eliminated. The remaining ones just need to be cleared out slowly. For the next few years, the Balian mountain range will be a safe zone. Yang Xiao smiled and nodded, but he knew in his heart that things were far from over. At the outskirts of the Wushan base's mountain range, not a single mutated beast can be seen anymore. This is not a good sign. It means all the mutated beasts have answered the giant beast's call and started gathering. The students over there barely dare to enter the mountains deeply. They've all retreated to defend the base. Over the past few days, they've killed less than 50 mutated beasts. At this rate, it won't be long before those giant beasts launch an attack. Now that the pressure on Hangshan base is greatly reduced, let's gather personnel to support Wushan base. An hour later, I was called to Yang Xiao's office right after returning. Chen Lin, the giant beasts in the Balian mountain range have been cleared by you. I plan to send you to Wushan base to help clear them out. I nodded without hesitation. I was just worrying about having no giant beasts to kill here, and was already planning to find an excuse to poach prey at other bases. Level 40 mutated beasts simply cannot satisfy Haiming's growth needs. Seeing this, Yang Xiao smiled. The others should be ready too. Without further ado, we'll depart now. I followed Yang Xiao to the base's large transport aircraft. 50 people had already gathered here. Familiar faces like Jifei were also present. Qin Kong came forward joyfully. Chen Lin, I knew you'd definitely come to support us. Hearing that Wushan base was in critical condition, he had agreed to come without hesitation. Jifei smiled and walked over to Diana, who was holding my hand. What a perfect little angel. She must still be in her infancy, right? Chen Lin, you mustn't do weird things to her, okay? Diana looked up at me with curious eyes. Master, what are weird things? Why can't Master do weird things to Diana? Instantly, countless eyes focused on me, filled with both envy and danger. My mouth twitched. I didn't know how to respond. I could only quickly board the transport aircraft with everyone and fly towards Wushan base. At this moment, the atmosphere in Wushan base was solemn. All soldiers were standing by in full battle readiness. Heavy weapons were all activated. Many students were whispering in discussion. Are we still staying here? The mutated beasts have gathered. They're definitely about to launch an attack. The military agreed to let us leave. We can't possibly clear all the mutated beasts right now, so staying is useless. Some people have already left. There's no other way. With thousands of mutated beasts charging over, who can stop them? Teammates sighed constantly, as if finding excuses for their impending escape. Wang Feng clenched his fists and said in a deep voice, my family is right here in Wuxi City. Even if the mutated beasts riot, and staying here means death, I'm not leaving. There are tens of millions of people in Wuxi. Even with full-scale evacuations these past few days, the majority are still in the city. If we can't stop the mutated beasts, it won't just be one city that suffers. Just then, a cyan transport aircraft pierced through the clouds and slowly landed at Wushan base. Next to the airfield, Wushan Base's commander Cao Yu and the officers had long been waiting there. Seeing Yang Xiao disembark with the students, they immediately rushed forward excitedly. General Yang, we've finally been looking forward to your arrival. He clearly knew of Yang Xiao's status as a rank 9 powerhouse. Yang Xiao said helplessly, Old Cao, my curse hasn't been lifted yet. Don't expect me to turn the tide. Cao Yu's robust face was instantly covered with gloom. The situation is critical right now. Countless mutated beasts are gathering toward 4 areas, commanded by a giant beast about to break through to level 70. They want to attack from multiple points simultaneously, making it hard for us to cope. He sighed and asked, I saw that Hengshan Base has a significant number of mutated beasts. How is the pressure over there so light? Yang Xiao smiled and said, the mutated beasts above level 50 in the Balian mountain range have all been killed. It was all done by him. Saying that, he turned sideways and pointed at me. Cao Yu instantly pushed Yang Xiao aside and rushed in front of me excitedly. Student Chen Lin, we finally got you here. Speaking of which, my grandson Cao Yang is your roommate. Student Chen Lin, come, the things General Yang gave you are over there. I'll take you there. Saying so, he pulled my hand and walked toward the logistics department. Several soldiers carried out a massive black box, several meters wide. Cao Yu smiled. Student Chen Lin, these are all yours. The warehouse over there happens to be empty. You can go in and check them at your own pace. I nodded in thanks, walked into the warehouse, and opened the box. It was filled with rare metal materials and life crystals. I summoned Silver Butterfly and immediately started fusing the materials. Not long after, the armor's weight reached 163 tons. Just a slight stomp caused the steel floor beneath my feet to deform. After fusing all the materials, Silver Butterfly gained an 8-stack sharpness attribute buff, adding the previous 2 stacks, for a total of 10 stacks. Now, instantly killing an alien race below level 50 with 1 strike is no problem at all. In addition, it also gained magma and size-shifting attributes. I nodded in satisfaction, already impatient to enter the mountains and find mutated beasts for practice. After fusing over 100 pieces of rare metals this time, Silver Butterfly's combat power has skyrocketed several times over. Following Cao Yu to an open area in the Wushan base, over 100 people were gathered here. I saw a familiar figure at a glance, Su Lingshui. Beneath her icy long hair was an exquisite, fair face, paired with a graceful and tall figure. Classmate Su, I stepped forward to greet her, and she replied with a smile. Cao Yu took a step forward and said solemnly, these mutated beasts gathered yesterday. Under the command of a level 69 Darkhorn behemoth, they are advancing in 4 directions, intending to launch a divided attack to prevent us from focusing our defenses. Each route is led by at least 2 behemoths, targeting the Wushan base, Wu City, and Yunhei City respectively. Your mission is to cut off their rear, intercept, and kill the straggling mutated beasts to reduce their overall numbers and relieve the pressure on our defensive lines. This operation will be divided into 8 groups, with 20 people per group. Any questions? None, the crowd responded in unison. Cao Yu immediately had someone call the roll to form the squads. Yang Xiao stepped forward and added, Chen Lin, you will act alone. He was well aware of my combat prowess. Having others tag along wouldn't be of any help anyway. I had no objections. However, the people around me were full of confusion. Even the instructors needed to operate in teams. What exactly was so special about me? 2 minutes later, all 8 groups were fully assembled. I summoned the 100-meter-tall He Ming and dashed toward the mountain range. Amidst the mountains, the giant black wolf sprinted at top speed. Behind me, Diana wrapped her arms around my neck, her tiny body fluttering in the fierce wind. As a newly born innocent angel, she was full of curiosity about everything and refused to stay in the dark, silent summoning space. Naturally, I wouldn't force her. Meanwhile, in the dust-filled mountain range, countless massive mutated beasts trampled the rocks and mud, crashing down giant trees. They formed a torrent of destruction hundreds of kilometers long, pushing forward. At the front of this torrent, 3 terrifying behemoths, each over 1,000 meters long, marched with their heads held high. Their bodies were wrapped in a ferocious aura, with power faintly circulating around them. Beneath the feet of the countless mutated beasts, over 100,000 meters of earth trembled constantly, creating a terrifying and massive momentum. Inside the command center, the many officers observing through drones wore grave expressions. Suddenly, an earth-shattering explosion rang out. A 1,000-meter-tall figure, a tyrannical entity surrounded by pitch-black flames. A giant black wolf suddenly charged out from the flank. Its speed was pushed to the absolute limit, tearing through the air and creating sonic booms. Everything within a radius of dozens of kilometers was destroyed by its terrifying power. A ferocious roar echoed through the heavens and the earth, sending shockwaves rippling out. All the mutated beasts were intimidated and stopped in their tracks simultaneously. Cao Yu was dumbfounded. Is this how he fights? The mission was clearly to intercept the straggling mutated beasts. Why did he just charge straight to the front? There are 3 behemoths there, standing over 800 meters at the shoulder, with 2 curved tusks reaching 100 meters long. A demonic elephant behemoth, covered in crimson scales, slowly spoke. Beast, where do you hail from? Why do you block our path? He Ming couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense. It instantly erupted with pitch-black flames, spreading them 10,000 meters around its body. The aura of death slowly circulated within the domain, devouring, along with the flames, the lives of the level 40 mutated beast trapped within. A tyrannical phantom, nearly 3,000 meters tall, solidified over its body. Gray, overlapping pupils filled with terrifying death intent opened, glaring at the 3 behemoths. Fear instantly welled up in their minds, as if they would be directly erased just by those eyes. Heaven-refining death domain, open. Within this domain, there is no entity that cannot be slain. Even lifeless undead creatures would be forced to accept the concept of death. In the air, Diana directly cast Divine Blessing. The divine crest on her forehead flashed with golden light to amplify her power. The giantified He Ming was simply too terrifying now. Even if she exhausted all her holy power, she could only slightly boost He Ming's strength, constitution, and agility attributes. But even with this minor buff, the heaven-refining death domain instantly expanded by another 20,000 meters. The power of the pitch-black flames doubled, becoming incomparably terrifying. In just a few seconds, hundreds of level 40 mutated beasts were reduced to ashes, and even their life crystals were devoured by the flames. "You court death, attack and kill it!" The three behemoths roared as they charged over. Right at this moment, the world suddenly dimmed. A faint moonlight spilled down, carrying a terrifying chill that made all the mutated beasts tremble. Diana stood high in the sky, her aloof and cold face looking down upon the earth. A full moon hovered behind her, and 9 final destruction ring blades wrapped in dark red true power orbited her body. They instantly slashed toward the Ghost Rock Behemoth. The Ghost Rock Behemoth roared and channeled its power, strange patterns emerging on its rocky skin. Yet it was effortlessly cleaved by the final destruction ring blades, leaving behind gashes dozens of meters deep. Feeling the excruciating pain, the Ghost Rock Behemoth halted its steps and raised a palm to swat at the blades, but they nimbly dodged. Under Diana's telekinetic control, the ring blades sliced up along its arm, tearing open a deep trench 100 meters long. Seeing that Diana had already tied down the Ghost Rock Behemoth, He Ming wasn't about to fall behind. It instantly charged at the remaining 2 behemoths, shattering the bones of any mutated beasts blocking its path. The demonic elephant behemoth let out a vicious roar and swung its massive trunk covered in crimson scales, fiercely whipping it toward the black wolf before it. Without needing any command, the tyrannical phantom instantly swatted out a demonic claw burning with pitch-black flames. It directly tore through the demonic elephant's scales, leaving behind 4 bone-deep, bloody gashes. Nearby, the centipede behemoth opened its bone-chilling mandibles and launched a sudden sneak attack. He Ming reacted extremely quickly, instantly raising a paw to smack it away. It then aimed at the centipede's head and bit down hard. The dark red carapace shattered on impact, and fangs pierced through flesh and blood. Highly toxic purple blood spewed out. The centipede behemoth shrieked in agony, coiling its body to wrap around He Ming. Countless sharp legs stabbed forward, but were blocked by an unshakable layer of golden light. He Ming lifted the centipede behemoth in its jaws and flung it away, smashing an entire mountain peak to pieces. Countless massive boulders buried it. He Ming's enormous body followed closely behind. It raised its claws to shatter the boulders, violently stomped the centipede behemoth's head into the ground, and pinned it down, tearing and biting frantically. At the same time, all the flying mutated beasts swarmed toward Diana in the sky. Her expression remained unchanged as she controlled the final destruction ring blades to spin back. 4 blades charged into the dense flock of flying beasts, crisscrossing and weaving through them, severing the flying mutated beasts one by one. Just then, the Ghost Rock Behemoth suddenly lunged at He Ming, wanting to prioritize killing it. He Ming let out a ferocious roar, its gray eyes devoid of fear. With its foot planted firmly on the centipede behemoth's head, it instantly engaged in close combat with the Ghost Rock Behemoth. The 4 colossal entities fought relentlessly, cracking the earth for tens of thousands of meters. The tremors continued to spread. Terrifying booms and roars echoed across the horizon, and countless mutated beasts scattered in panic, terrified of being caught in the crossfire. The command center was dead silent. Cao Yu watched, absolutely stunned. Holy crap! How is this wolf so fierce? It's only level 20, yet it's trading blows evenly with 3 behemoths. That's a massive gap of 46 levels. The many officers swallowed hard, staring at the screen with eyes full of disbelief. By now, the mountain range had turned into a purgatory burning with pitch-black fire. The 4 behemoths clashed madly, shaking the heavens and the earth. That 1,000-meter-tall tyrannical demonic phantom exuded a terrifyingly brutal aura that seemed capable of devouring millions of lives, making it almost hard to breathe. At this moment, Diana in the sky stopped her attacks. Hundreds of flying mutated beasts had already been slaughtered by her, their mangled corpses piling up on the ground. Following that, the final destruction ring blades began to orbit and merge together. The dark red light grew increasingly dazzling, and as the terrifying power circulated, even the air itself was annihilated. The 9 blades combined into one, forming a 100-meter-long dark red ring blade hovering in front of Diana. An aura of finality that terrified all the mutated beasts swept out. The dark red true power of final destruction rotated along with the blade. Behind her, the silver-white full moon gradually turned deep crimson. Tens of thousands of meters of heaven and earth were bathed in red light, as if descending into hell. At this moment, the full moon's strongest form of final destruction descended. Diana's cold and emotionless voice slowly drifted out. Embrace your death. In an instant, the dark red light of the final destruction true wheel shined to its absolute peak. It transformed into a terrifying red shadow that tore through the sky, slashing toward the centipede behemoth. The moment of impact, the final destruction true wheel didn't stall for even a second. It cleanly sliced right through the centipede behemoth's 1,000-meter body. In just a few seconds, the centipede behemoth was reduced to unrecognizable bloody residue. To instantly kill a level 65 behemoth with just one strike, such terrifying power even left me astounded. Diana's form of final destruction has an unimaginably terrifying armor-piercing effect. It practically ignores defenses entirely. Moreover, she still has an even more terrifying sun and moon form. However, the crimson full moon dimmed a bit at this moment. This move obviously took a massive toll on Diana, but she still had some energy left. With a thought, She controlled the Final Destruction True Wheel to slash toward the nearby Ghost Rock Behemoth. Seeing this, fear exploded in the Ghost Rock Behemoth's mind, and it immediately sprouted an even thicker, harder layer of stone skin. But this could not stop the Final Destruction True Wheel at all. It instantly cleaved its body perfectly in two. Consequently, the deep crimson full moon in the sky could no longer hold up and quickly dissipated. Diana's slender and perfect body instantly reverted to her petite, childlike form. Her aloof and indifferent face now showed a hint of innocence. Blinking her eyes, she hurriedly fluttered her wings to go look for her master. On the other side, Ming also swiftly finished off the demonic elephant behemoth. Ming stood tall amidst the sea of pitch-black fire, as the dark flames devoured the fallen behemoth's body. Back in the command room, Cao Yu was feeling a little dizzy. He found it simply unbelievable. It was originally a mission just to intercept a portion of the beasts, yet I actually managed to achieve this. Intercepting, killing, and scattering all the mutated beasts, one person swept clean an entire zone, defeating a horde of thousands, even tens of thousands of mutated beasts. My contribution was several times greater than everyone else's combined. In that case, the threat of the root attacking Wu City was resolved. Cao Yu's face flushed with excitement, washing away a great deal of his gloom. Originally, the chances of a successful defense were less than 10%, but now, there was hope. In the mountain range, the pitch-black flames quickly devoured all the corpses and life crystals, then returned to Ming's body. Fueled by the converted energy, it grew another meter in size, and all its attributes increased by 2 points. Through the feedback link, all of my attributes also increased by 1 point. The energy converted from the behemoths was no longer a significant amount for Ming, but it was different for me. Even if I only received a third of it, the boost was still considerable. Currently, my attribute stats are not much lower than a level 30 hidden class user. That is why, coupled with Yindai's terrifying buffs, I could blast apart a level 40 mutated beast with a single halberd strike. As for level 50 mutated beasts, it would just take a dozen or so more strikes. Facing off directly against some weaker behemoths is no longer a problem for me either, and my next target is the horde attacking Wu City.